is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
This is the Big O Show.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Starting in August, longtime Miami Heat insider Ira Winderman joins the Big O Radio Show. Ira will give insight twice a week on your favorite NBA team. Heat fans get the information you crave from one of the best in the business. From weekly appearances to breaking news, join Ira Winderman exclusively on the Big O Show. Found on most platforms.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good morning. Yes, sir. Welcome aboard. Time to rock and roll for the next couple of hours. We'll have some fun here on the show. We got a loaded show for you today also as we preview some stuff going on, which is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful Tuesday. Hope you all are well and safe out there. We got some stuff to talk about today in the world of sports. We got a couple of guests. Obviously, Ira Winderman is going to join us. We just played the promo with Ira going to join us starting in August, but he's going to start actually tomorrow with Clay Ferraro. It'll be Inside the Paint. It'll start off tomorrow at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. It will not be yours truly. It will be Ira and Clay. But what we're going to do tomorrow actually is we're going to start at 9:30 tomorrow, kind of warm up the seat, get it going, and then hand the baton off to Ira and Clay, and they're going to rock and roll between 10 and 11 a.m. tomorrow. And every Wednesday, by the way, the boys will be rocking here for 1 hour talking about the Heat and, of course, the NBA. Looking forward to that. So that's the debut of Inside the Paint. A lot of the features that we created over at Onside, obviously, I brought them over here, and so we're using a lot of them here, in fact. And so Omar Kelly, and we're there's more things coming that are already planned, and so we can't announce them yet, but we're going to add more. So we're going to have a lot of fun here on the show, and we're going to be your place, obviously, for Dolphin football as it starts up, and the boys are reporting. X is reported. We'll get into that conversation too. But tomorrow it'll be a special start at 9:30. So on Wednesdays. See, the show will start normally at 10 a.m., but on Wednesdays, we're going to start a little earlier to kind of warm the seat up for the boys and get it going, and we'll have a little fun there on Wednesday with the boys. So Ira will join us in about a half hour here at 10:30 at the bottom of the hour. I want to get into a little USA basketball with him and then preview kind of what's going to happen tomorrow and from here on out. And then the following week, remember, Ira will then join us for exclusive reports twice a week. So Ira's going to be on 3 times a week with us, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Okay? So remember, every Friday now, it'll be Manny Navarro, Omar Kelly, and Ira Winderman. I don't think you can beat that, right? That's going to be absolutely awesome. So we're looking forward to that. And then next week, remember, Kyle Krabs joins the family, and he'll be with us every Wednesday also on the program as we continue to grow. And I appreciate all of you out there as always. Thank you for supporting the show. Remember to smash the hell out of the like button when you're watching. If you're downloading the podcast, smash the hell out of the like button. Again, the download numbers were just absolutely sick yesterday. I can't thank you enough about what's, it's the show's taken another step, and it's been amazing, and I appreciate it. I'm very, very blessed to have your support, and I thank you all out there for helping us grow the show, whether you smash the like button, subscribe, share the link, all of those kind of things really help what we're trying to do here on a daily basis. So thank you all out there. So where do we start? I guess we got to start off with the Dolphins and start off with X as X reports to camp. And listen, I'm not surprised that he reports to camp. The guy was going to be fined $50,000 a day. And the only way you're really going to get what you want here is to go opposite of Le'Veon Bell. Okay? Le'Veon Bell did everything to screw up his career. If you're X, well, you've got a domestic issue in hand already that people have to be concerned about. You have several knee scopes already in your career. You got to watch out. Remember, this is one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of redoing X's contract, because there seems to be always something, right? We talked about this several times here on the show. And so for me, where I have a problem with all of this is they just gave you your money, dude. Contract's a year old, and I, as I've told you, he wants Miami to assume all responsibility, and he's not taking any. And so he's got to take the burden. He's got to take some of the responsibility. And if I'm the Dolphins, I'm not reworking any deal, and I'm making him play on this deal this year, and then next year I'm trading him. If he still has the same requests, he still has the same complaints, then I'm moving him. And there'll be plenty of people ready to move for him, and you'll be able to acquire picks. But you got to make your run this year. I don't think they'll trade. And I know that we had one of our Saints guys on last week, and he kind of felt that maybe that New Orleans could be aggressive enough to try to make a move for him this year because of what they've got going on with one of their corners. And as he told us, he doesn't think they're necessarily convinced with that corner, right? So if they aren't, then we'll see something. But I still don't think the Dolphins will do it because they've got to re-sign all their guys. They've got to make sure they've got a decent cap issue. And by trading them now, you're going to accelerate that money, and it's going to be quite a hit. Instead, next year you make the move, and the hit is so much less for the Dolphins, and it just becomes a much more bearable move for them if he's so dead set on getting more money. So really, if X, we've talked with Omar. Obviously, Omar joins us twice a week, and he'll join us again on Friday, and it'll be good to get Omar on Friday because you'll have a couple of days of being at camp, and then maybe we'll get something, and we'll get a feel for something that he sees at camp. But, when I look at this whole situation, for him, the best thing is to report, be the good soldier. That way you're sexier to everybody else around the league. But if you're going to be a malcontent, then it's going to be a problem for other teams to acquire you. And if you're the agent, I would hope you've had that conversation with X and say, hey, man, no matter how mad you are and how frustrated you are, our best way is to be politically correct for this year. And then in the offseason, we will find a way out of here, and they'll make a move at that point because it'll be easier for them and easier for us. But if you start acting like a dick throughout the year and you start pulling Minkah Fitzpatrick crap, well, then it's going to be a lot harder to move you. And it's going to be a lot harder to find a team that's going to want to give up picks and give you more money. So I would hope that the agent has had that kind of conversation with him, and X has enough common sense to do that. There have already been people that have kind of set the example of how not to do holdouts or contract disputes or anything along those lines. And especially when you carry baggage. And X carries baggage. And that's the difference. He's not a choir boy. Russell Wilson can get pissed off and say this and that, and you better listen to his ass because he's impeccable as a human being, not just as a football player. You understand? So there is no baggage there. Whereas with X, he's got the baggage. Obviously, whatever anger issues he had to have that domestic issue, that's going to linger. And then he's got the knee surgeries. So he needs to actually have a really strong year and a healthy year for all parties to be happy with all of this. Because if he doesn't act up, if he acts up and if he has physical issues, then that's going to set him back and set the team back. And it's not going to make the situation better. So really, in the end, it's all up to X, how he behaves, how he handles this. And if he's a pro, he might end up finding his way out of here and getting the money that he wants. Who knows? If he's a pro's pro and the cap goes up enough, maybe next year the Dolphins give him a little extra money because they feel they've got the wiggle room in order to do it. You never know. Here's the other thing. Here's the flip side that you got to think of. What if, okay, I'm not saying it is, but what if as the year goes on, Noah kind of shows that he's not the guy and he can't take over and he fills in and he gets burned and this and that. If you're X, you keep playing the game because your leverage is being gained as the season goes on, because then the Dolphins are seeing they don't have a replacement. You understand? Now, if Noah balls out every time he fills in for either guy, Byron or X, and he's balling out, then X sees that, and X goes, well, they got my replacement already. It doesn't help you to act like a dick at the moment, right? Stay the course. Play the game. Go intercept 7, 8, 10, 12 balls this year. Come up with another great year, and then follow it up that way. When the offseason gets there, okay, it's been a couple of years. He hasn't had any knee scopes. It's been a couple of years. He got past the domestic issue. He handled the adversity this year very well with everything that was going on behind the scenes. Hey, we want to trade for that guy. I mean, in the end, I just think that X is going to have a lot more success with honey than with vinegar. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how he handles all of this. But if he handles it the right way, he could end up here a long-term basis. He could end up traded. But either way, he'll get his money. But if he acts like a jerk, he may not get his money from Miami, and he may not get his money from another team. So really, now we'll switch sports. The ball is in his court now. Now it's up to him to see how he handles all of this. And we'll find out if maturity has stepped in with X in this sense, and he looks at it. Just, hey, man, like I said last week in one of the segments that I had, learn from Le'Veon Bell. Learn from Le'Veon Bell. Do it the right way, and eventually everything will come back for you. Because if you're a great player, you're always going to be in demand. And if you're a great player that brings very little baggage to no baggage, then people are going to be lined up out the door to go get your services. And that's kind of what you want next year. You want the people lined up for you because they're not just willing to trade a couple picks for you, but they're also willing to give you the money that you need because they probably feel they're an X away from being a contender or a playoff team or a Super Bowl contender or whatever it is. Because if you're acquiring X, it's because you think you're pretty damn close overall. I mean, really, it's the only reason you would acquire an amazing player like that. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. That's what I think needs to happen with X. Now we will see from here on out how everything else is actually handled. Remember, many ways to participate on the program. We've got the YouTube chat board. You guys can chime in on the YouTube chat board, send in a question, comment, insult, all that good stuff. Twitter, Big O Show's another way that people can participate on the program. Email, bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. That's bigoradioshow@yahoo.com if you want to reach out to us there. And, of course, you can support the show, Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. Let me do a little roll call here. Steve Chapman. Chapman's been like the quintessential number one every day now. And as he chimes in and reminds everybody to smash it and the like button too. GP Trap is in there. And let's see. He says, off to boring meetings until 11 or so. Catch up with you then. All right. I like it. NorCal is in. Good morning, NorCal. Omar Lopez. John Rouse is in the house. Ian from Brooklyn. Daniel Marquez. Jeff Fox. What's up, Jeff? Jeff is in. Hank Goldberg's left nut. Herman Cueva. Gus 1388. Lisa Rose. Troy Ortiz. King Short. Uber Beaner. I hope X balls out and we can trade him for 2 first-rounders. Too much of a headache now. Carlos H. says, good morning, Big O. I had to show you some love to Michelle Kaufman Sunday. Oh, thank you. Oh, so thank you, Carlos. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I appreciate all of you chiming in and checking out the show. That was very nice of you, and I'm glad you were honored at the Inter Miami game. Thank you very much, man. That was very nice. That was very nice. It was a good feeling to know that the show is progressing and reaching out to folks, man. It is really, really nice. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you. Mr. 305 says, common sense isn't common anymore. Amen, Mr. 305. You're right about that. King Short. Let's see. What else? Ray Grullon. Football season is here. Go Fins. And Carlos C. says, good morning, folks. Appreciate all of you chiming in. Remember, smash the hell out of that like button. That is one of the most important things you'll do. C. Dola says, I'm new also. Oh, all right. Well, welcome aboard, my brother. Thank you for joining the family. Appreciate all of you, whether you're live, whether you're podcasting. And I know, 99% of our audience is podcasted. But I love the live audience that joins us every day. It's as special as it gets. So whether you're live, whether you're podcasting, I appreciate it immensely. I know that the majority is the people on the digital side, and they come back and listen to us and all that good stuff. And again, yesterday, the download numbers are just absolutely phenomenal, folks. I mean, I can't thank you enough. With the way things are going with the show. Thank you. James F. Vinetti says, X is at camp. Let's go. Yes, he is. Mike No-Go Zones is in. What's up, Mikey? Appreciate it. Says, let's hope Team USA can beat Iran tonight in basketball. LOL, yeah. Yeah, I'm not staying up for that one. I think it's late at night, right? I'm not doing that. But you better beat Iran, right? I mean, dude. You don't win that game, you might as well just mail it in, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate it. Airman 241 is now chiming in there on the chat board. So chat board is very active. We appreciate all of you out there as always, whether you're watching on Facebook, whether you're watching on Twitch, which I know we really don't do a lot of the Twitch stuff, even though we're on Twitch, but we're not really doing a lot of connecting on Twitch, I think, or, of course, on YouTube. Thank you all out there, however it is that you're watching the show. I appreciate it immensely. All right, so we talked a little bit about X, and that's a good thing, at least, after all the hype and worried about whether he's reporting or not. It's good to know that at least he's in the mix there, and everything is at least moving forward in that sense, and he's handled the first stage the right way. You know what I mean? Let's see how it moves from here on out, and we'll see how everything goes on. Now, the other thing that I think a lot of us have been tracking is what's going on with Watson. And now the Deshaun Watson stories. I remember I told you we got our Heat zombies and we've got our Dolphin zombies. And, Dolphin zombies want to trade for everybody. Heat zombies expect everyone to be acquired. We also have Inter Miami zombies. Inter Miami zombies think that every single international player is going to sign here. All right. In the next year, Neymar, Messi, and Ronaldo will all be playing for Inter Miami, according, of course, to all the zombies, right? Because this is the sexiest place in the world. And yeah, they've got to come. All three of them will be signing here shortly. Just wait. Here they come. And so remember we had the Dolphin zombie yesterday. Well, we'll give them a first and a second and two, and they'll give us Deshaun Watson. And I was kind of laughing. So Chris Mortensen now reports that the Texans won at least 5 high draft picks and starting caliber players. Okay? Told you it wasn't going to come cheap. This is per 2 league executives, according to Chris Mortensen. So think about that. So they want 5 high picks. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you it was going to be like 3 or 4 first rounders and a couple of second rounders? That's exactly what's going to happen. And a player or two they're going to want. They're handing you one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL. And if the young man is innocent and this is all a cash grab, there's going to be 10 teams lined up to give the Texans whatever the hell they want because he's a game changer, right? Now, as I've said before on this, I think the NFL is a joke here. I think they should never have let him report to camp. I think they should have put him on the commissioner's list while all this legal stuff is being worked out, because there are 10 criminal cases that are pending, that are going to be pending against him. 8 of the 10 are with Rusty Hardin. There are 2 women that are going to file criminal cases against him, and they're not suing with the other women. They're on their own. So this is a legal mess that is going to last a while. Okay? And, you know, some people say, well, why shouldn't he be on the field during the legal mess? And it's a great point. Here's the problem that I have with all of this. This dumbass created this scenario for him. Because as good as Deshaun Watson is as a football player, and he's phenomenal, he's clearly not very smart. He might be football smart. He might be a magician back there, but in life, I mean, you're Deshaun Watson and you keep calling women on IG that you don't know to come massage you or screw with you or whatever it is that you were doing, whether you're getting laid or getting a massage, something was getting rubbed. Dude, you're setting yourself up for this. What kind of an idiot, like a Deshaun Watson? Can you imagine if you're Justin Timberlake or Jay-Z's married, but whatever, forget about it. Justin Timberlake, Jay-Z, you're Aaron Rodgers, you're Russell Wilson, forget it. They're all single. You think if those guys start calling IG models or women, hot women on IG, and just start DMing them and have them come over for massage, where do you think that ends, dude? They end pregnant. They end with a lawsuit. They end with a money grab. Or what was there criminal activity here in Watson's case? But either way, you were setting yourself up. This is where I don't feel sorry for Deshaun Watson. Do I feel sorry for Wayne Rooney? Dude, you were with 3 women. You went to a hotel room with 3 women. And then there's one that's half naked on a bed and you're falling asleep on the chair. Whether you did something or you didn't, you put yourself in that position because it's going to look like you banged them all. And maybe he did and maybe he didn't. I don't know, but I don't feel sorry for him. You're the dumbass that chose to go back to the hotel room with 3 women. You set yourself up. So that's why I have zero sympathy for Deshaun Watson, because he's incredibly stupid. You guys following the PJ Washington story? So PJ Washington, during the pandemic, ends up hooking up with Brittany Renner. Now, those of us that are, we follow social media enough, she's pretty famous on social media. Her name is Bundle of Brittany. She had this soccer video that went freaking, butt-ass wild. And butt-ass wild is actually a perfect term considering you look at her butt. She's got a great butt. And so Brittany's cute. She's fine, all that stuff. And she's a trip on IG and she says crazy stuff and all that. And she was actually like kind of going at PJ when PJ was still in college. Okay. And like 18, 19, she was already, So PJ and her finally hooked up, and then, the whole thing, right? Young people, and especially PJ, first probably big time P that he gets, right? And he fell in love with it. Now he got it pregnant. Now they're broken up. Now they've unfollowed each other on IG. She's got a baby. Now he's going to have to pay. But it's like, you're young, you're gullible, you don't get it. Yeah, I kind of get it with PJ Washington that he got suckered. Deshaun Watson, you got to know better than that, dude. You got to know better than that, man. And so that's why, for me, you keep Deshaun Watson out of the mix. You don't even let him report to camp. The commissioner should have put him on the commissioner's exempt list and say, hey, listen, everything's on freeze. When the legal issue's over, then we'll move on with all of this. That's it. That's all. Man, this world is full of suckers. Okay? And suckers fall for crap all the time. And PJ Washington got suckered by Brittany Renner. And Deshaun Watson is a sucker for just calling women that he has no idea who the hell they are, but everybody knows who you are, dude. And in this world, when you're that kind of dude, you're a target, bro. Politicians, musicians, athletes, entertainers, you name it. You cannot just go out with normal people. And you certainly should not be going out with strangers on IG. In this world, come on, man. You're setting yourself up. So now Mortensen's saying 5 high draft picks and a couple of starting caliber players. That's a lot. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I've never believed that the Dolphins are sitting there. That's for Adam Beasley and Mike Florio that have been writing that so they can get clicks, all the time and writing that stuff. For me, I don't even think the Dolphins are really interested. If they would be interested, it's because the Texans call them and say, hey, listen, 2 second rounders, and we'll give them to you. That, like I told you, unless it's this low-hanging fruit. I mean, look at Chris Greer deal right now. Does he seem like the kind of guy that's going to give up 47 picks for any player? No. Because when you feel that you can actually draft yourself, you don't need to do stuff like that. You keep the picks, you keep the power, and that way you're able to do it on your own. And you can find your own player. You can draft your own player. You can develop your own player. All of those kind of things. That's why it's a positive for a team like Miami at this point in time, now that you have a front office. That's why I haven't believed any of that stuff, and I still won't believe it. He'll end up somewhere, but it won't be here. Here, you're going to see Tua probably do his thing. All right, let's do our thing. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Ira Winderman, of course, from the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. Tomorrow we'll debut Inside the Paint with Clay Ferraro, and next week he will then debut as our insider here on the show. Can't wait, man. Ira does amazing work. When we come back, Ira Winderman from the South Florida Sun-Sentinel.
Starting in August, longtime Miami Heat insider Ira Winderman joins the Big O Radio Show. Ira will give insight twice a week on your favorite NBA team. Heat fans get the information you crave from one of the best in the business. From weekly appearances to breaking news, join Ira Winderman exclusively on the Big O Show. Found on most platforms. When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
This is the Big O Show.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Welcome back. Welcome to the show. And look at him there with an MBA with the screens and everything there. You gotta love it. Ira Winderman, of course, from the South Florida Sunsettle. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. And since I didn't have a chance to test my microphone, am I okay here, Big O?
Yeah, you sound good. You sound good,
perfect.
actually.
Perfect.
Look good. You got the whole heat thing in the background. I like it. You got the PTI faces back there. Is that a
You told me to come ready, so I wanted to come ready. You said either bring it strong or don't bring it at all.
You're bringing it, dude. Is that a Cycly poster back there?
That is a Ronnie Cycly head. I've got a bunch of different ones I took over the years. I don't have my Orlando Magic beat the Heat up one, but I guess as this thing goes on, I'll be like the bobbleheads in the background for others, and maybe I'll swap them out a little bit.
I like it. I like it. Good stuff. And Ira next week, by the way, will be joining us twice a week on Tuesdays and on Fridays. Wait a minute. Okay. On Tuesdays and on Fridays, he's going to be joining us. So we'll have a little fun with him and get all the insight on the Miami Heat and the NBA. And obviously it gets going next week with free agency. All right, Ira, tomorrow it'll be Inside the Paint. So give us a little sneak preview of what you and Clay are going to be talking about tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to working with Clay. I've watched him over the years with Will Manso on Local 10 or what he's done there. And they, of course, do a really good job on that station on their Heat coverage. Some other stations are football only, like you recognize in your show. It's more than a one-sport town down here. And Clay has really good, strong opinions on the Heat. What we're going to try to do is separate sort of the rumor and bring you more of the reality. So there's plenty of places out there you're going to hear the Heat's going to get this guy, the Heat's going to get that guy. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to say why something can be reality and why something can't. So as you know, you see it, whether it's on your chat room right now or your emails, the Heat should get this guy, the Heat should get that guy. We've got to get this guy. And I'm going to try to tell people why or why not, whether it's saying that, hey, look, Kyle Lowry can only get a 3-year deal because of the NBA's over 38 rule. Or the Heat can only bring in Kyle Lowry if they're going to wind up losing some of their other free agents. Bring you sort of the calorie cap. I wish. I'm sure you do also stuff. The salary cap stuff as far as that, like Omar does, where Omar sits down with you, a couple of times a week and tells you why you're wrong. We're going to try to do that a little more. So you can go anywhere you want for Heat speculation, and I love it. It's fun, but it's also innocuous. It also can be empty calories. What we're going to try to do is tell you, hey, this is where the real sustenance comes. This is what actually can make sense. This is what can happen. And hopefully leave the listeners with enough debate points where they can chime in either by email, in the chat room somewhere, and give their thoughts based on facts and based on reality.
I love that. I love that. And you'll get a lot of the reality, obviously, with Ira and Clay every Wednesday. Remember, tomorrow we'll start at 9:30. So I'll warm up the seat for about a half hour, and then the boys will take over for an hour and then take it over. So on Wednesdays, every other day we'll start at 10 a.m., but on Wednesdays we'll start a half hour early to kind of warm things up and get it going for the boys from 10 to 11. So every day, every Wednesday, 10 to 11, you can catch Ira and Clay Farrar from Channel 10 doing Inside the Paint exclusively right here on the Big O Radio Show. And then next week, Ira will be joining us for our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat reports. That'll be twice a week. And then obviously we got free agency next week, Ira. So
it's going to, you know what? Oh, it's going to be insane because it starts Monday at 6 p.m. And honestly, by the end of the week, the 6th on Friday is the first day you could sign players. But you know how this game works. No one waits to the end. Everything gets done early. It's all official. What will be fascinating when you and I talk, and I'm looking forward to this next Friday, that will be the first day, the opening hour that Jimmy Butler is eligible for his 4-year, $188 million extension. And I'll get more into that with Clay tomorrow and with you next week about whether the Heat can afford to do it or honestly, whether the Heat can afford not to do it. And it's something you and I will pick up on next week also is, you've seen petulant Jimmy Butler. Before Jimmy came to the Heat and you were talking about him as an outsider, you saw his act with Fred Hoiberg in Chicago. You saw the Rachel Nichols interview and the practice over there in Minnesota, how it ended. And even in Philadelphia alongside Ben Simmons and sort of the antipathy there. So I think that's going to be something really important for Heat fans. And I'm writing a column about that for SunSentinel.com for tomorrow is, on one hand, can you afford to give Jimmy Butler a contract that will pay him nearly $50 million when he's 36 years old? Or can you afford not to give him that contract and lose him when he's 32, 33, and 34 years old? So it is interesting. We're parents. We know what the petulant child can look like. And we also know what the satisfied, eager, and contributing child can look like. Don't want to sort of compare him to a child there. But I'm saying I think that's going to be as much as who the Heat get. I think that extension will be one of the really big storylines next week as well.
All right. There's no doubt that's going to be a storyline. You and I have talked about this one before. I'm not the biggest fan of the big extension for him. How active do you expect the Heat to be? Because they are going to be able to cut a bunch of people and open up a bunch of cap space, correct?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. They can go the all-in for one route, which means basically you let everyone go except maybe for Bam, for Jimmy, maybe Tyler Hero. We can debate that back and forth. Probably bring Duncan Robinson back, and that's it. Scorched earth. That gets you to $24-25 million. You can build what Kyle Lowry wants. You can build an offer sheet for Lonzo Ball. You can bring in one more player. So, and this is something I'm going to postulate for you for weeks to come. Is there any sense that the Miami Heat are only one player away? Because I don't believe that. I don't believe that adding Kyle Lowry or Lonzo Ball, or even, I'm even going to go this far, even, and it's not going to happen, a Kawhi Leonard and say they're one player away. They're not. So I think Pat Riley, Andy Ellisberg, Adam Simon, Nick Arison, the entire front office have to find a way to make it multiple players. They can do that if they do Kyle Lowry in a sign and trade and still preserve some of their other flexibility, whether it's team options for Goran Dragic, whether it's sign and trade with Kendrick Nunn. I think the Heat, if you and I are saying by the end of next week, well, the Heat added one really good player, what do you think, Ira? Ira's going to tell you they're going to be one and done in the playoffs again next year. The Heat have to add two names. There have to be two names that you and I, as we go through with our Acura Pembroke Pines reports through August and in September, we need to be talking about two new Heat players, whether it's Kyle Lowry and someone else, whether it's two other players, probably has to be a power forward in there. And, I'm not talking about they're going to get Kyle Lowry and bring back Dwayne Dedmon. It can't just be someone like that. It can't be an A-list star and a C-list, D-list kind of player also. So I'm really curious to see how Pat Riley and Andy Ellisberg in the front office handle it, but it has to be more than just a plus one.
Does it seem to you like Tyler Hero got a message?
I think Tyler Hero always had the message, and I'm curious. I didn't catch your full show yesterday or the start today. I was working on some stuff. But this whole notion that Tyler Hero can also be a boy wonder and have his fun away from the court, that really bothers me. And I have no issue with someone getting...
Michael had more fun than anybody else. As long as you do your business, you're good.
Yes. So again, I don't care if Tyler Hero gets on the stage with Jack Harlow at Rolling Loud. I don't care if Tyler Hero, is off doing his thing now, is going to become a father, has parenting to wonder. As long as he looks like a better Tyler Hero next season on the court, which he vowed to be, to put on weight, become a stronger player, that's all I need. But you know what? As much as the Heat talk about falling in love with players, that they love Tyler Hero and they love Precious and KZ, I think they would move all of them for a +1 or a +2 like you and I spoke about. And you know what? To get an asset, you have to give an asset. One asset is your cap space. Another asset is the players on your roster. So I know there's been plenty of speculation about the percentages. I don't like to do that kind of stuff of Tyler coming back or not, but he's in play through no fault of his own. He's in play because he's an asset. Just like Brian Grant and Caron Butler and Lamar Odom were in play, just like so many other Heat players have been in play, because if you can get better, you're in play. So if you're asking me right now, would I bet my life for something significant on Tyler Hero coming back? No, I would not. But I also would not do it as a criticism of Tyler the person or of Tyler the boy wonder. I think he's a really good player. And I think he could develop into a very good player, but you need great players to win championships.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. But I mean, we see the talent. It's just a matter of him maturing in the process. And I'm hoping that a little bit of maybe taking a little bit of a step back this year, hearing some of the criticism instead of all the love and the praise, maybe that kind of balances it out and says, all right, I got to get my stuff together here if I'm going to be that guy.
And also, no off season. Remember that. He went from the bubble season to 2 months off as a rookie to back into it. He didn't have that developmental time. He has been working at the Heat gym. Remember the awful evening and day when they had their Surfside collapse? Tyler Hero was in for a second workout by the time they rushed up to Surfside with supplies from the Heat. So he has been in the gym. I mean, when was that? That was in June. So he has been in the gym for a while now. He's putting in the effort. That's one thing that bothers me. Don't equate being young and carefree with not being someone who cares. You can be both. You know what? You should be both. I think the people who don't have lives outside of basketball, believe me, even Kobe did it as well. I think you become so one-dimensional. I think that limits you also. You need time off in the NBA. You need time off to grow as a person. You need time off to grow as a player. You need time off to develop. Last year, Tyler Hero had 6 or 7 weeks after a grueling run to the finals. Now he has about 3 months off. I think that alone will make a difference. I would not be surprised at all to see him out with the Heat Summer League team in Las Vegas, not playing in the games, but being there with the coaching staff, getting some workouts in, honing his game even more.
That would be good. That would be really good. And the Summer League's going to help, obviously, KZ and Precious and those kind of guys, because they didn't have an off season either after getting drafted. So now the Heat coaches will get their hands on these guys. And we know these players all get better once the Heat coaches get their hands on them. Ira Winderman, of course, joining us. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., debut of Inside the Paint. Clay Ferraro joining Ira Winderman every week for one hardcore hour of basketball. All right, Ira, I was talking about this yesterday. We watched the USA team lose against France. And one of the things, the dynamics of the USA basketball have changed. Those of us that are old enough, Ira, like you and me, some younger people may not understand this, but, our young guys decades ago were getting their asses handed to them by the older Euros. And then it got to the point where we said, all right, we're going to send our pros. And then that's what became the Dream Team, Redeem Team, all that stuff. So the whole jingoistic thing got behind it, and we went and we got go prove ourselves, kind of like the Cuban baseball team beating up on our young guys. We started sending, pros and all that kind of stuff. The same thing. And so now it's gotten after years have passed since then, I think guys have kind of gotten a little bored with this whole thing. And so now we fast forward to what's happening now. I truly believe that they're not constructing a USA basketball team the right way. They're going out and getting the 13 best offensive stars that they can get, and let's bring them aboard. And that's it. Where I think you need to go get PJ Tucker. I know Butler didn't want to play this year because of the body, but you need to go get a Butler. You need to get a Draymond Green. You need to go get a couple of the role players that are willing to do the dirty work. And I know that you've got Bam there and all that, but I just feel like you need to go get guys that will be happy doing some of the dirty work. And then that allows the other half of the team, which should be offensive stars, to get in an offensive groove. And I think you would have more of a balance. I know you're going to be pissing off some guys, but go get your all-star complementary players too in the NBA. Hell, go get Ben Simmons. I know he had to work on his game.
He's Australian. You can't get him though.
You can't get him. That's right. I mentioned Matthias Thybulle yesterday, and he's also Native American. But my point is, go get some defensive-minded players that don't mind bringing the lunch pail and don't give a shit about scoring.
Except, that works when you have a continuity team, when you have time to work on your roles, whether it's a PJ Tucker spending the second half of the season with the Bucks and working in. When you're trying to put a team together in 2 weeks and then go play, I still think your best players are still your best bet for this reason. They can do it individually. And my thought on the Olympic tournament is this. Remember, this is a different type of sport, only 5 play at a time. If you have 1 or 2 dominant players, that's all you need. We saw that from France. God bless Evan Fournier. And this is a Heat follower. When Evan Fournier is at his best, he's like the French LeBron. He doesn't have those moments. He has them against Team USA. He has them against the Heat. Rudy Gobert, when he's at his best, is the best defensive player in the world. So what you have to do is, I think for all these Team USA games, is saying, do you have the best players on the court? Well, Kevin Durant was in foul trouble against France. He wasn't a factor. Damian Lillard was horrible. Even he admitted he became unplayable for Greg Popovich. So first of all, consider all the players who aren't on Team USA right now, whether it's LeBron, whether it's Harden, whether it's so many of the elite players. They don't get those players anymore. Guys want their off seasons, especially after these compacted seasons, especially with all these COVID protocols. Then there's the notion that the NBA has fallen off because Team USA isn't dominant. But look at the NBA.
The world has caught up. That's what it is.
But because the world is NBA players. Giannis Antetokounmpo is not eligible for the U.S. team. He's Greek. Nikola Jokic is not eligible for the U.S. team. He's Serbian. Joel Embiid is not eligible for the U.S. team. He's from Cameroon. So basically, the NBA has become so international. The NBA best players, like you mentioned, Ben Simmons, for example, aren't even eligible. The world is catching up. If you have the best player on the court in Olympic-style games, where the games are only 40 minutes, where players can foul out on their 5th foul, you can win. We saw that with Luka Doncic and the 48 points he scored in the opener. That's the problem for the U.S. Kevin Durant needs to be great. Damian Lillard needs to be great. But your thought of putting together a cohesive team of team players that integrate and play together is great, except for one factor. Not when you're getting together 2 weeks before and just going out and playing. I mean, you've been arguing for years in your show whether the NFL should have preseason games or not, whether they're worthwhile or not. But we saw even last year, if you have a limited camp and no preseason, you need time to coalesce in team sports. I think that's the problem for Team USA. You know where Team USA would be better? If they were like Spain, if they were like the Czech Republic, if they were like Lithuania, if they were like Slovenia. If in every international competition, they had a core that is trained in international basketball to know about offensive goaltending is allowed, to know you can take the ball off the rim, to know how the game is played. Instead, international basketball is almost a different sport. Might not be 3-on-3, but it's a different game. So the international players know how to win on the international court. The NBA players don't. Why? Because they're basically showing up for their vacation. I think that's why you're seeing these kind of results. Maybe what we need to do is, after the NBA draft on Thursday, is to get a core commitment from guys. Do you want to be Team USA for the next decade, for the Olympics, for the World Cup, and play through that? I think if you do that, you'd have the kind of continuity we see with Spain, with the Gasol brothers every 4 years, or the World Cup, with Lithuania, with Slovenia. I'd see a big difference. Again, are they the best players? No. Zoran Dragic was not good enough to last in the NBA. But he's a great international player. He understands that style of game. I think the NBA has to move more toward that.
One more thing that, I get it, dude, that you want to play for your country and it's an honor and all that good stuff. I get all of that. I feel terrible watching Booker and Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton there because they just finished the NBA Finals. I just feel like those men just went through an entire season, postseason, and now the Olympics. I almost feel like you need to bar the people in the finals because you're putting them at a health risk. You know, fatigue leads to injuries, and that's where I just I get it. I don't want to take the honor away from them and all that good stuff. But man, I just kind of feel like you're really risking those players. And if I'm a Bucks fan or I'm a Milwaukee, right, I'd be a little concerned right now watching those guys play right now.
Well, we've never had years like this. We've never had an NBA final that ends, on July 22nd. So this is a little bit of an off year. And remember, the Tokyo Olympics, weather-wise, are supposed to be held in October, except NBC didn't want to go head-to-head with the NFL. So all the timing is off here. So I think it's more of a case like the NHL does when they send players over to the World Championships as they get eliminated. Maybe you have a cutoff point. If you're playing in the NBA playoffs past this date, you're simply not on the team. Means you don't get your best players. But here's the problem with that theory, Big O, and I'll give it to you, is this. If you're going to set that rule for Team USA, but other teams aren't going to play that way. Let's say the Mavericks made the finals this year. Well, Luka Doncic, come hell or high water, is representing Slovenia because he wants to. So unless you have uniform international rules, you really can't do that with that kind of arrogance. And let's face it, there is no Slovenia in the Olympics without Luka Doncic. There is no France in the Olympics without Gobert and Fournier. Some of these teams, Spain with Marc Gasol, you need your NBA players. Again, it's two things sort of going head to head. Maybe you need to be like the NHL. And I know Gary Bettman has been very unpopular for this, is where you go, you're not going. Our league is the ultimate championship. And that's the reality, yo. The biggest basketball championship you can win in the world is an NBA championship. I've always felt about the Olympics, it should be for the other sports. The biggest track and field championship you can win is the Olympics. The biggest swimming championship you can win is the Olympics. Big O, I don't give a rat's butt about Olympic golf. I don't care that Naomi Osaka got eliminated in Olympic tennis as long as she wins the U.S. Open. I think that's sort of the problem with the Olympics also. The Olympics should be the ultimate stage for a sport. If it's not, you're going to see what we have right now with the NBA and USA basketball in the Olympics. It's simply not the biggest thing. It was Devin Booker and Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday playing to their last breath in the NBA Finals, and then whatever they got left over, they'll bring to Team USA.
Yeah, no, but listen, I also say this because I'm pretty consistent on this. You and I have had this conversation before. Goran Dragic was never the same after he did those Euros, and he put that more wear and tear on his body.
He actually had a good season that first year back, but you're right. As he plays on into his 30s, there is a certain toll there also. Look, I speak to agents about this all the time. And NBA executives, and Mark Cuban's been on the record about this. They hate the fact that NBA players go and basically play for free and risk injury and everything so the IOC can make all this money and NBC off of them, and they'd rather have it not happen. But then all of a sudden you come off as unpatriotic. So I think what Gary Bettman did in the NHL might not be the worst thing in the years he had to do it, is he had to say you have to make your choice. There is no bigger hockey championship than the Stanley Cup. I think the NBA might have to say the same way. You want to see the world's best on the world's biggest stage? Come watch the NBA.
Right, which is the truth. You know what I mean? Hey, remember, this was supposed to be for amateurs. It wasn't supposed to be for pros. That's the way you and I grew up. All right, so tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., it starts. You got your speaker on or something? Is that what it is?
Oh, I do have my speaker on. Is there an issue there? Or
I don't know, because is that the only way you can hear me?
I was using my speaker because I thought I wanted to get the full Big O effect. Tomorrow morning, we'll go a little different route.
Yeah. I think you're going to need that for feedback purposes. But tomorrow morning, my man Ira Winderman, along with Clay Ferraro, the debut of Inside the Paint every Wednesday. Make sure 10 to 11. I know 99% of you won't be on live. You'll be podcasting it later. But anyway, that's where it's at. And what are you working on at the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out, my man?
I'm working on that story that if the Heat get Kyle Lowry and get Jimmy Butler and wind up paying players in their mid-30s $70 million total going forward, is that the direction you want your team to go? Or at a certain point, you have to draw the line and say the rest of the NBA is getting younger on Thursday. The Heat have to go in that direction also.
Are you sure it's not FTX Arena or Geritol Arena? Which one do we go with?
I guess we're going to wait and see depending on how that Jimmy extension and Kyle Lowry's free agency goes.
Oh, wow. Ira, good stuff as always, my brother. Look forward to tomorrow. Thank you,
Catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much. Looking forward to this.
You got it. There you go. The great Ira Winderman at Ira Heat Beat. Make sure you follow him there, man. Always good stuff. How about that? As the show grows. I love it. I love it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Remember, tomorrow morning, I'll start at 9:30. Okay, so I'm going to start a little early, get things going, warm the seat up, and then we'll welcome the boys in for an hour, and then I'll take over after that. I don't know how long I'll go till. I would imagine at least till 12:30, 1 o'clock. But it'll be a pretty long show tomorrow. We'll have our guests also set up. Appreciate all of the kind words out there. Rashard Holmes and Miles Turner. Yeah, those are defensive players. Yeah. I just would like a little bit more balance in that sense. But he does make a point on bringing all your studs. John Rouse says, anyone can accuse anyone of anything, but may not be erased, but can't change anyone as well. Well, I don't know. I guess there's another conversation you guys are into. What else do we have here? Ira, great job from Chase 1. Miami Dolphin draft picks have to make draft picks that aren't in the market of trading picks for veterans. No way is Watson on the Dolphins' radar. No, Watson is not on the Dolphins' radar. It's only on my boy Adam Beasley and the Pro Football guy Mike Florio. Those are the only people that are constantly harping on it, and they could be in the mood, or they could be interested, and they're not. Let's see. Tyler's rebounding percentage went up last season. He's still not a defender, can't defend, and he didn't shoot as well as he shot last year. So he needs to pick it up, man. Okay, he needs to pick it up. And listen, I'm with Ira on this. I don't need a choir boy off the court. You can go have your fun, dude. I don't care if you have fun, but don't let your success get to your head where you don't then work as hard. You know what I mean? That was my problem with Tyler, that you can tell that he didn't do enough in the offseason, even on his own. And I know that he had the pandemic and everything, but he had 4 months off, and Jimmy Butler sent everybody hoops, right? And you could probably find a way to work out if you wanted to. So you got to do something to get better. And this year now, he's going to have a real offseason. So if Tyler is on this team next year because they didn't trade him or anything, then I expect a kid that is going to take this serious and go out there and ball out, bro. That's what I expect. He's got the skills to do it. Go do it. Go get it done. Rosendo says, do you really think Miami will trade Xavier Howard to 22 and give Houston our first-round pick? And I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Rosendo, I don't think any of that is happening unless if you're talking to me. Gotta love Ira. He is the best. Thank you, Ray. He is awesome, dude. He is fantastic. Big O, GM Big O, smash the crap out of that like button. Working on a hot roof. Catch you later. There you go. I like it. Steve says, even with low-hanging fruit, I wouldn't make the trade. It could very well be a lateral move on the field, and Tua's a choir boy, not a drama queen. I mean, that's the good thing about Tua, that at least you're not going to – I think he's going to be a player, and I think he's a Derek Jeter type dude. I think he's going to be a baller, and I think off the field he's just going to be like Russell. He's going to be impeccable. Russell Wilson. You never have to worry about Russell Wilson ever. He's going to ball. He's going to sell out for his team. He's going to be a great leader. And then when he's away from the building, you can sleep like a baby because Russell Wilson will always do the right thing because that's what he's all about. So yeah, I'm with you on that's a good point there, Steve. That's the beauty of Tua, that if you have a hell of a player, which I think you will have a hell of a player, you're also going to have a hell of a person, and you never, ever have to be concerned. Think about this, okay? Be honest now. Those of you that are on the chat board right now, and if you're podcasting later, I want to ask you this question. Be honest now, okay? It's a bunch of you right now on the chat board. Be honest. Let's say everything clears up right now, right? He settles with these women and all that. Okay. Are you, in your mind, 100% convinced that Deshaun Watson won't do anything stupid like this again? Because I'm not. That's the difference. Do you think he learned his lesson and he's never going to try anything like this again or similar or whatever? I don't. Because you did it this many times. And that tells me that there's something there, bro. Something habitually is wrong. Oh, and by the way, he's got a fine-ass girlfriend. Have you guys seen his girlfriend? She's gorgeous, bro. And you're still doing all this behind this. I'm sorry. I have problems with that. Whereas I know that if Tua's a baller and he's a player, that other stuff that's gone on with Watson, never have to worry about it ever in my life. That'll never happen to Tua. Okay? That's it. I have 100% confidence in the human being as much as I do the athlete. But the difference is Watson's already accomplished. Watson is there. Well, I have faith that Tua will turn into a good player. He hasn't. So I could be dead ass wrong. And that's the difference, right? Watson is already, he's a made man, as they say. You know, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and that's not up for discussion or anything. And so some of you out there, and I think that's where this lives. I think it lives solely or mostly, not solely, mostly, I think is the better word, with the people that don't believe in Tua. That's what I think. Usually the people that are bringing it up are the people that don't believe in Tua as it is. And so they think that that's their next chance at getting a quarterback because they don't currently have one. Whereas I think the Dolphins have one. He's just young and he's going to grow up and he'll get to, adjust and he'll become a hell of a quarterback for the Dolphins for a long time to come. But that's the question you have to ask yourself. The other one is, we will return in 30 seconds to start our number 2.
Starting in August, longtime Miami Heat insider Ira Winderman joins the Big O Radio Show. Ira will give insight twice a week on your favorite NBA team. Heat fans get the information you crave from one of the best in the business. From weekly appearances to breaking news, join Ira Winderman exclusively on the Big O Show. Found on most platforms.
All right, we're ready to go. Hour number 2 of the program. Thank you for hanging in there. And we thank Ira Winderman also tomorrow. Remember, we start at 9:30 tomorrow. The show will start at 9:30. And then, obviously, 10 a.m., we'll start Ira Winderman and Clay Ferraro with Inside the Paint. Looking forward to the boys doing the show and talking a lot of basketball. I'm looking at Bitcoin right now, 38,649. So inching closer to 40,000. Ethereum, John Rouse, if you're watching, 2,311 right now for Ethereum. About that. So it's going to climb. I told my wife 2 days ago that Bitcoin will hit 40 by the end of the month. It might end up going over because we still have 4 days till the end of the month. I believe there's a 31st in this month, right? So July, right? 31st. So I believe it'll go to 40. It'll probably go over. It may go to even 41 or 42, which is a beautiful thing. Jose Celdron says, "Morning, it's officially football season." Yes, it is, my friend. NorCal says the Dolphins won't mortgage the future by trading multiple picks for one player. A ton of picks for one player. It's more than I know it's multiple, but it just, when you're trading away like 5 high picks, that's just not multiple, bro. That's an entire draft. And they want all high picks. No way, man. That means multiple years of high picks. And, this guy goes out and does something stupid. Ugh. Not convinced Deshaun won't do something similar. Even if he doesn't, the microscope will already be on him. People will be monitoring his every move. There's no way it won't get to him. Plus, he'll be in South Florida, let's say, just for craps and giggles. If he lives here, he's got a hot girlfriend and he's still doing all that. That's all you need to know. Javier Segarra says, history shows it will be repeated. Rich V says, no. Carlos C says, nope. Call of Duty goes, I'm here listening. I've got nothing interesting to add. Too Extreme says, enough with the damn Tua trade talk. Just stop it. It's not going to happen. I'm with you, Too Extreme. I'm with you, bro. But what are you going to do? Oh, have the Finns signed Eichenberg yet? That's a good one. I don't know if Eichenberg is signed yet. I'll look it up. I don't think so. Now you mentioned it. I don't remember them mentioning. I know that they had. I know that they have a couple rookies left unsigned, and I don't know which ones they are, but we'll see. All right. You know what we should do? We should hear from Mr. What's it called? From Mr. Flores, actually, because he spoke to the media this morning. And so I'm wondering maybe we should run that press conference and see what he had to say about everything, because obviously they're going to ask him about what's it called? They're going to ask him about X, right? So let's see if we can hear from the coach. All right, let's
X's representation, Chris.
All right.
Are here. Conversations with X's representation, Chris, myself. Those are confidential. And
okay.
And
guess it's
all
freezing
players,
up.
and but we're excited to have him. I'm excited to work with him. He's a great player, and building over the course of training camp.
There you go. He's happy X is in.
To practice, build chemistry, build camaraderie.
Oh, this is kind of shady. It's not coming in good. Unfortunately, it's not coming in good, man. Sad.
X's representation, Chris, myself. Those are confidential, and
yeah,
all players, and but we're excited to have him. I'm excited to work with him. He's a great player, and building over the course of training camp.
Yeah, I'd love to run it, but it's getting frozen up and stuff. And then we could at least hear what he had to say. Now, I'm sure he didn't say much earth-shattering stuff, but Coach at least is in, ready to go, ready to rock. I know that what I could do is I could give you some nuggets from the press conference, because obviously most of the guys are going to be tweeting out different things about the press conference and what's going on in camp. Listen, man, when we look at this team this year, it's just going to be a lot of fun that this team is actually a legitimate playoff contender. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then watching Tua's development, it's going to be fantastic. Eichenberg, by the way, has signed his contract per Brian Flores. Preston Williams will start camp on the PUP list. And let's see, what else do we have here? Talking here that's newsworthy. Dolphins signed their tight end, Hunter Long. Okay, so let's see. Salguero tweeted out that Kilgore announced his retirement. And that's it. So those are some of the newsworthy notes. So Eichenberg is in, and you need Eichenberg to get his ass in there because you want him to get as much playing time as possible and practice time to become the right tackle on this team. That's a desperate thing you need to happen for the Miami Dolphins. I mean, listen, Fluker is a respectable veteran, but the future is Eichenberg. And in a perfect world, I'd love to see Eichenberg step in right away and become the right tackle. That would be actually really, really cool if that could happen. But okay, you got some of the notes there. Eichenberg signed. Hunter is signed. Preston Williams will start off on the PUP list. Xavier Howard reported. So at least you don't have that drama of him not being at camp and then that becoming a real problem. And like I told you before, the best part is watching Noah now this year. That's what's going to be cool, is watching Noah try to grow into this position. That's going to be the awesome part. And if he's able to do that, that's going to make all of this a lot easier for the Dolphins, for the coaches, and for fans too, because fans will feel a little better about the situation if Noah is actually playing well. Remember, you can reach out to us on the YouTube chat board. That's one way to chime in. Email Big O Radio Show. That's another way to chime in on the program. I know that I saw somebody chime in here a little bit with Cash App or Venmo. Forgot which one it was, but I did see somebody sign in with Cash App or Venmo, and thank you. I gotta get the name now, and I'll thank you in a minute. Ian from Brooklyn says, Jesus, how long does PW need to recover? He will be most likely miss a few games this year. Shaking my head. Poor kid, man. He started off his career. He was playing really well. He suffers a knee injury. They bring him back pretty much right away the following season, and he suffers another injury. I kind of feel bad for Preston Williams, to be honest with you. I'm kind of the opposite of you. I'm frustrated for the poor kid. It reminds me a lot of Inter Miami and Robbie Robinson. That poor young man had a rough first year as a rookie, and then he has an injury, and he has that this year he has the hamstring injury, and they mishandled it a couple times, and so he's out for months. And watching him score this past week on Sunday night, that was actually really fun, and I felt really good for the kid because he's had every bad break so far to start his career. And for me, Preston Williams and Robbie Robinson are two young guys with a lot of talent, and both guys have not gotten a stinking break, dude. You know? So I'm a little different than you on that one. I'm more frustrated for both of them because I feel both of them can really add something to their teams, and they're really talented, but they need a break too. And so I think the best thing, instead of they rushed him back last year and he got injured again, believe it or not, maybe the best thing with Preston is to bring him along slowly again this year. Don't rush him like you did last year, where the poor kid has to come back to try to prove himself that he belongs. And he's already proven enough that he belongs, right? I mean, I don't think any of us doubt that Preston Williams has NFL talent, correct? So now let's do this. If you're the Dolphins, bring him along slowly, okay? Ease him back in. Make sure he's as strong as possible. Make sure he's as confident as possible. Make sure that knee's as stable as possible so you can keep one of your better talents at wide receiver on the field. And here's the other thing that you want to think of when you want to bring all of this up. This is a young man that has a future. And I hate to put it this way, but he can do the things that Devontae Parker does. And he might already have more speed than Devontae Parker and more athleticism than Devontae Parker right now, because Devontae Parker, I'm sure the injuries have taken an incredible toll on him. And if you keep having injuries every year like Devontae's had, that takes a toll. And so the future is no longer Devontae Parker. But if Preston Williams is going to be your future, you need to take care of the present right now. And you need to handle Preston Williams, and you need to handle it with kid gloves. So that way, let's get him to the point where he is physically and mentally, his confidence is at an all-time high. And then structurally, his knee and everything else is as solid as it gets. And that way he can go out and play at the best of his ability. I'm one of those guys that actually feels terrible for Preston Williams. So you and I are going to differ a little bit on that one, because I just think that I think the world of that kid talent-wise. I think he has all the ability in the world to become one hell of a player. You know. Let's see, what else do we have here? Do you think Manny Diaz should be on the hot seat if the Canes don't compete for the ACC title? We're going to have Manny Navarro at 12:30, and that's a fantastic question on your part right there. Wow. That's a hot seat. Yeah, now that I think about it, you have 19 of 22 returning starters. North Carolina has got the better quarterback, obviously, in Sam Howell, but they lost their running backs, the receivers. They lost a lot in their weapons. Now, I know the quarterback elevates everything, and maybe Mac was able to really, replace them overall. I'm going to go with you on that. I think he should be on the hot seat when it's all said and done, if he doesn't, because you've got more experience coming back. You should have a better team. Yeah. Even though they were picked second by the writers that cover the ACC, they picked North Carolina to win the division and Miami second. And that's because Manny Diaz hasn't done anything to convince people. The plasma guy. Thank you, sir. Oh, it's Weapons X United. That's what it is. Weapons X United. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Giving us a little love on the Cash App. Very nice of you. Appreciate it. It's awesome. Thank you. And remember, Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Let's see. Big O, the question that our Dolphins have to ask themselves with PW is, do they want to repeat what they've gone through with Parker, with Williams? He's got the talent, but damn, he's made of glass. No, but I don't believe he's made of glass. I think he got injured, and then I thought they brought him back too early last year. I got to be honest. I think they screwed up, and they put him on the field too soon. And then I think they hurried him up, and the pressure with the poor kid, because he's undrafted and he's got to go prove himself and all that stuff. I think they kind of screwed him last year. You want me to be honest? That's what I think happened last year. Just like I think the way I think the Dolphins brought Preston Williams back too soon, it's the same thing I think of Inter Miami bringing Robbie Robinson back twice too soon. And they effed it up, and they buried the kid for a couple of months. And it was their fault, not Robbie's. And last year, I blame the Dolphins. I don't blame Preston Williams. I just feel like they both have had bad luck, and both of their medical management teams mishandled and brought them back too soon. So I'm not ready to do that to Preston Williams and say, oh, he's made of glass. In fact, I got to tell you something. I commend the hell out of that kid for coming back like he did last year. I'm a big Preston Williams fan, man. I really like the kid. I think he can ball out for the Dolphins for a long time to come. But Lord, please take it easy on the kid. Give him some time to really get healthy and get comfortable, and then release the Kraken. Then let him go. Let him be that guy that we saw before the first injury. That guy was impressive, dude. Okay? That guy was burning everybody in camp. That's the guy that X called a number one type receiver. And he kind of looked it. Just green, but he did look like he had, like, we're talking about a dude that is blessed with big boy talent. Not because he's just a big boy. I'm saying this kid, the good Lord blessed him with ability, you know? So I just want you to handle it the right way. Bring him along slowly. Let him actually really get healthy so he can take off. Same thing with Robbie Robinson, man. Let him get healthy. Give him a chance because he's shown you that he can be a player. And I know I've kind of frustrated some of you that you're a football fan, but you hate soccer. There's only a few of you that actually follow Inter and follow the Dolphins that you'll pick up on that analogy. Some of you that don't even give a shit about soccer and you don't even follow it. You don't even know who the hell Robbie Robinson is. You're like, why does he keep comparing him to that guy? Why? You know, so there's probably only a few of you that actually follow both and really understand what I'm saying. But now you know who Robbie Robinson is. You may not follow Inter Miami, but maybe you'll start following him. And now whenever you see Robbie Robinson, you'll say, oh, that's the guy that compared to Preston Williams. And I'm telling you this, the situations are incredibly similar. Let's see. Didn't PW get hurt by Wilkins landing on him during a celebration? Yes. Yeah, remember that Wilkins. That's a good point, Jonathan. I forgot completely about that. Great job by you, dude. That's a great job by you remembering when, that's the only time I've ever gotten mad at Wilkins. Didn't he injure like somebody else too? Like he got into this habit of jumping on people. It's like, yo, dude, you weigh 300 pounds. You know, it's like Jakeem Grant can jump on everybody. And that's good. It's all right. If he's jumping on you, you barely even notice that he jumped on you. Like, oh, yo, what was that a fly? You know, because you won't, I mean, the guy weighs 105 pounds. So that's not going to be a problem. But when you're Christian Wilkins, dude, let's go. Right? Didn't he hurt like somebody else's foot or something like that? Or was that the Preston Williams was with the knee, right? Like he hurt somebody else jumping on him also, right? Like, yeah, like Christian, yo, no more jumping on people. What the hell did he get into last year with that stuff? That was a terrible routine. Nice job by you, Jonathan. Good memory. Wilkins almost killed the commish. Ha. Yeah. Wilkins, yo, no more. Okay? No more jumping on people. All right? And don't even get your ass close to Tua. I know you guys play on two sides of the field, but when Tua scores his 30-plus touchdowns this year, a high five, low five, fist pump, elbow, that's it. No bodies. Okay? Christian, do not even come close to Tua. Don't breathe on him. Don't even come next to him. No. Arms distance and a 5. That's it, bro. Nothing else, Christian. Stay away from Tua. All right? You've injured enough people. You've created enough havoc in celebrations. We love you. We want you to be here long term. We want to see your name in the Ring of Honor. We just don't want your big ass jumping on people. All right, Christian? That's the message. No yumping, okay? No, and plus, we don't need to see a 300-pound man jumping in the air. Okay? You're going to end up blowing out your knee in celebration, and we've seen that too. We've seen Arizona kickers and Tennessee linebackers blow out their knees during celebrations. So we don't want you to be a part of that whole thing. Okay? Oh, you headed to camp? One day, not sure. But yeah, I'll be at camp at one point or another. Ragin says, "Good morning, everybody. Football season is here." Yes, it is, isn't it? NorCal says, I'm not a fan of the celebrations during the game. Go out and win and then celebrate. Well, I don't mind celebrating. Just don't injure each other. NorCal, that's all. I don't mind you celebrating. I just don't want you to injure a damn person. That's all. Can we just celebrate without injury? That's all we need. Just celebrations without injuries. I think that would be a good thing. All right, what else do we have? Did you see the Finns linebacker, Duke Riley? He proposed to his girlfriend, Yes Jules, at Rolling Loud. She had a big old ring and everything. So congratulations to Dolphins linebacker Duke Riley and his fiancée, Yes Jules. She's apparently a social media maven, apparently. I don't really know Yes Jules much. This was my first time seeing who Yes Jules is. But congratulations to Duke Riley on that one. For those of you that went out to Rolling Loud. Hey, it looked like it was a good time. Didn't look like there were any issues like they've had in years past. Although I did notice that there weren't a lot of masks. So there you go. I'm going to a concert on Sunday. I'm going to the Green Day, Weezer, Fall Out Boy, Interrupters concert. And obviously I'm an enormous Interrupters fan. That's my favorite ska band right now. And I love Green Day, too. Green Day Live is fantastic. Weezer and Fall Out Boy, I've seen both. They're kind of throw-ins for me. I'm really going more for the Interrupters and for Green Day, actually. Those are the two bands that I absolutely love. But I you know what? I'm in the pit. All right, so I got a question for you. I'm vaccinated, all right? And I'm going to a pit. Now, it's at the whatever it's called, Cruzan, Sound Advice, Perfect Vodka, Coral Sky Amphitheater, whatever the hell it's called, right? I'm going to that place. So it's kind of out in the open, although it has a roof, but, the roof is really high up, so it's really kind of out in the open. Would you wear a mask in the pit for that concert? I'm thinking I got to wear a mask. This is my first time, in a group. I haven't been in that kind of a setting at all, and I kind of get the feeling I got to wear a mask. Even if I'm vaccinated, I got to wear a mask. What do you guys think? I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what other people think. They can kiss my ass. I don't care about that stuff. I care only about, am I doing the right thing or am I going a little overboard? What do you guys think? Because I'm looking at this thing spreading and it's like, I don't want to be part of the spread, even though I won't end up in the hospital or dead. But if I get it, I still could spread it. And if I get it, you know what? Maybe I'm off the air for a couple days. Maybe I can't do the show for a couple days. That's the other thing I'm thinking of. Right? And I got a lot of responsibilities now that we got this thing going and rolling. So I think I'm wearing a mask. I'm pretty sure, but I want to know from you guys, what would you do? Herman says, yes, Jules is verified on Twitter, so she must be famous. Big O, what are your thoughts on Brandon McKinney working his deal guys like they are a team? First love it. Brandon McKinney, I'm not picking up on what you're asking me, Isais. Herman says, wear a mask. Ian from Brooklyn says, mask up. Oh, Rich V says, mask up, mask up. Ray says, yes, mask. Oh, play it safe. DF says, hell yes. Raging Dolphin Maniac says, I would wear a mask or at least bring one with me. Well, if you bring it, you got to wear it. You know what I mean? I mean, it doesn't help to bring it and not wear it. Ryan says, because you are a Looney Tune. Okay. Yeah, but that's besides the point. I am a Looney Tune. But Ryan, should I wear the mask or not? Anytime I enter the pit, I know I might catch an elbow or a virus. Plan for the worst, hope for the best. Well, although, wait a minute. Okay, Green Day, Weezer, Fall Out Boy, and Interrupters, I don't think there's going to be a lot of moshing in that pit. Okay? Although, for the Interrupters, I saw them at the Glass House in Sonoma, California on a cold-ass night. And there were actually people at the Glass House. There was a couple people that were actually moshing back and forth, believe it or not. C. Dola says, when will it stop? Well, when everybody gets the shot and we can bring it up. Hey, polio took decades, baby. This is the problem with our microwave society. Everybody wants a 100% working virus vaccine, which doesn't exist, right? And then they also want it to like go away next week. It's not going to go away next week. That's not how pandemics work. So it's going to work. It's going to take a while for it to go. Wear it, F them. That's what Drew Boo says. Oh, Delta variant is running around. You sure you want to be going to a concert with the masses? Doesn't sound too smart. Yeah, but I'm fully vaccinated and I'm going to be masked up. I think I'll be all right, dude. Isai says mask up. Ryan says Big O literally tells lies daily. It's crazy. Just like sport. Just talk sports, please. Oh, why, Ryan? You can't handle a little virus talk? Let's see. Raging Dolphin Maniac. And remember, Ryan, there's a big rule on this show. I talk about whatever the fuck I want. You got that? Not you or anybody else tells me what to do. So, love these guys and stick to sports. Wear a Green Day mask. No, I would wear an Interrupters mask. That's what I would wear. Okay, if I had an Interrupters mask, that's what I would wear. Andres Negron says mask up. Josh says, hell yeah, I would wear that mask. I have a concert at the Hard Rock in 2 weeks. I will definitely be wearing my mask. Smart. At the Hard Rock Live or Stadium? Hard Rock Live for sure, because you're inside. David says, mask. Who needs to spend the week in bed feeling crappy? Right, David? That's like one of the most reasonable answers right there. Just save yourself from possibly feeling like shit for a couple days or a week. You're right. You're right. Let's see. Even with being vaccinated, I'd wear a mask, no question and no hesitation. Call of Duty says, you've been yelling at people because of the Delta variant. Of course you wear the mask. Mitchell Young says, wear the mask. Drubu says, get in the pit and try to love someone. Fire. Take vitamin D, zinc, elderberry. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course. Sure, Ryan. That makes a lot of sense. John Rouse, Metallica coming to Hard Rock. Yeah. I'm not going to go to that concert. I'm actually going to go see Metallica in Atlanta. I'm not seeing them in my backyard. I'm going to go to Atlanta. Greta Van Fleet is opening up. That's why. I don't get Greta Van Fleet here in front of Metallica, but I do get Greta Van Fleet and Metallica in Atlanta. So I'm going. Yeah, I'm not right in the head, but what can I tell you? Let's see. What else do we have here? Big O, there will be a pit if there's no seats. It's rock and roll. Oh, bro, Ryan, you gone and done it. Joe Romano, mask up. It's your health we are talking here. Yep, there you go. Herman says, think we have a troll. Rich V says, he logged off now. LOL. I love the guys that, or women that want to just like control the content of the show. Like, oh, no, don't talk about this because I can't handle the other opinion. What can I tell you? All right, what else do we have to talk about here? I hope Simone Biles is fine. Poor girl had to check out. She left after the vault. And apparently she withdrew from the team's final competition due to a medical issue. She'll be assessed daily to determine medical clearance for future competitions. And obviously we know how important she is for the Americans and gymnastics, because we all know she's just an absolute beast. Tonight, Marlins are back in action. Sandy Alcantara taking on Spencer Watkins. They're taking on the Orioles. It's a 2-game set. They won the last 2 against San Diego. I would like to see them win. Hey, man, the Marlins are 43-57, and the Orioles are 34-64. So they're worse than the Marlins. Okay, and the Marlins the Marlins are young and they don't have a ton of talent, and then they've had all these injuries to boot on top of everything else, and they're 43-57. Meanwhile, Baltimore's 34-64. Let's go, man. This is actually 2 winnable games, although the dude that's pitching tonight's got a 1.65 ERA and is 2-0, so they got one of their better arms right now on the mound. So we'll see what happens tonight. I'll be watching the Marlins tonight. I'll be one of the few watching the Marlins tonight. I know some of you out there will not watch the Marlins, don't care about the Marlins, don't care about baseball. But what can I tell you? All right, what else do I have? Oh, I didn't mention this yesterday. The TJ Dillashaw fight over the weekend. Man, that thing was awesome. That was the Sanhagen guy. I thought it was a really, really close fight. Like that's the kind of fight that I didn't know who won. I picked TJ Dillashaw by a hair, but it was one of those where I would have been fine if they would have picked either guy. It didn't matter. If the Sanhagen guy would have been given the fight, I would have understood. But I thought Dillashaw, wow, dude. And he was off for 3 years. And he was in impeccable shape. Don't you wish you could have that 6-pack? I mean, the only 6-pack we ever get is when we walk out of the grocery store with a 6 of beer. That's the only time we have a 6-pack. But Dillashaw, man, 3 years off, he came in great shape. And it seemed like, look, I'm no MMA expert like my boy Dono, but it seemed like he had the perfect fight plan too. Pinning him, kicking the crap out of him, knocking out those legs. And he had that gash in his eye right away. My wife was like, she was struggling to watch that fight with me because it grosses her out, all the blood. She really can't watch that sport that much. She hates it, man. What else do we want? I heard Omar on Big O's show, and he said Kinley looked about 340. I don't know if that's good, but he sounded pleasantly surprised. Well, that's kind of his playing weight, I guess, is right there, is in that area. So I guess I'm sure that's where they wanted it. And if Solomon Kinley wants to win a job, he's got to come in great shape and try to take over, And let me tell you something. That's one thing that I'm looking forward to with the Dolphins, that it hopefully they have success with all their young guys. I would give anything to watch Fluker and Skura on the bench. And it's nothing personal against the 2 veterans. It's I want young guys to take over. That would be the highest high of all for Dolphin fans, is that all five guys are your draft picks. Right? Dieter takes over at center, and Eichenberg takes over at right tackle. And then you've got Hunt and Kinley at the guards, and then Jackson at left tackle. And that would that would feel so good. And as I think I've mentioned this before, if somehow or another you get the 5 guys to start for you, how do you not feel you have a great front office? For those of you that still may not be convinced with Chris Grier at this point, which, I'm sure there's some of you out there that still aren't convinced with Chris Grier. But if all 5 guys are young guys and they end up starting, that right there tells you probably have one hell of a front office, because they've been able to figure that thing out. What else do we have here? Akaris once says, Biles left the team event for mental health, according to her interview just posted on ESPN. I didn't see the interview, bro. I'm on the air. I'm just going by what the release was from the Olympic people. That's it. It's an official tweet from them. That's what they put. That's probably what they put initially. Remember, I've been on for, an hour and a half already, an hour and 40 minutes. So that's what I saw there. Best ska album of yesteryear, The English Beats, Just Can't Stop, Mirror in the Bathroom. I'm with you, bro. I got no problem. By the way, you do know that The English Beat is coming, right? The English Beat and the Fix are coming, and it is. I could give you the date because my my buddy sent me a picture of the tickets yesterday. It is October 23rd at the Culture Room, sir. Okay. There you go. That's it, baby. The Fix, the English Beat, Culture Room, Saturday, October 23rd. I'll be there. Love it. So if you're big into seeing a little Mr. Wakeling and English Beat, come on down. Come on down. They are probably the kings of ska, right? English Beat. Interrupters for me are my favorite modern day ska band now. For me, they're the best right now at ska on the planet. What else do we have here? Let's see. Drewbo says, no, Ragin. O loves to be told what to do. Please, someone tell him how to run his show. You're setting him up. I like it. Herman says, remember, Skura is a proven NFL starter. He just has to figure out his snap problems, and I think it's more mental. Yeah, I know he's proven, but I want a young guy. It's I personally, for me, Herman, it would be so satisfying for all 5 guys to be draft picks of the Dolphins. I think that would be the coolest thing that's happened here in a long, 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 long time. And come on, for over 20 years, we've been bitching and moaning about the line and how they can't find 3-4 good guys, much less 5. Maybe they find 1 or 2, and then the rest are all holes, always. That's kind of what it seems like every stinking year for the Dolphins. That's why I'm saying that's what gets me excited that they've made this heavy investment. And if you're able to hit on a lot of these guys, that would be the ultimate right now for us Dolphin fans. Ray says, Orlando, I will see you there. I got tickets as well. All right, Ray. I like it. I'll see you there, brother. I can't wait. I hope the Fix does opinions again, because the last time I saw them at the Amatorial Theater at the Broward Center, which is the smaller venue than the Broward Center, they did my favorite song, Opinions, which is just absolutely amazing, dude. Love the Fix. For those of you that don't know, the Fix is one of my all-time bands. I know it's not something that you would hear from people normally, but Iron Maiden, U2, The Cure, the Fix. Those are my foursomes that I would go any stretch anywhere in the world to go see any of those 4 bands. Believe it or not. Yes, the Fix too. I will travel anywhere. In fact, when I had my heart condition about 4 years ago, they were coming to the state, and I had tickets for them in Clearwater, St. Pete. No, it was Clearwater, West Palm Beach, and Fort Lauderdale. That's what it was. I was going to all 3 dates. And then I had my heart condition, and I lost out on a couple concerts, and those were 3 of the concerts that I was going to. Within a week, I was going to see the Fix 3 times. Yeah, I'm a sick bastard. I mean, what can I tell you? I love the Fix. Real Big Fish is my favorite ska band. They are so good. I saw them at the Culture Room, and they were fantastic, dude. Great energy. Real Big Fish is really, really good, man. I enjoy those guys. Fix, highly underrated band. Red Skies at Night, Stand or Fall, Saved by Zero. Great double bill. Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. That'll be awesome. When Big O, doctor, wants to perform a stress test on Big O's heart, his doctor plays a recording of a listener saying, Big O, stop doing this and stop doing that. Exactly. Exactly. Ray says the Fix, Reach on the Beach Classic LP. Actually, all their catalog is great. Reach on the Beach, Reach the Beach is probably their best album, and it is so amazing from beginning to end. It's a great album. But Ink is a great album. Animals, I think it's called Calm Animals, I think it's called, is a phenomenal, an incredibly underrated album is Calm Animals. So yeah, I'm with you there. The other one also that I love is the God, I'm forgetting the damn name now. It's got like these glasses that are in the front of it, and oh man, Secret Separation, which is a great song. The album with Secret Separation. I forgot the name of that album. It's gray and black. That album is so good also. But again, I'm a little different than the average person. I'm a Fix fanatic, so I probably will go to extremes that you guys won't. All right, so let's get into a little sports again. By the way, Aaron Rodgers is now, after all this drama with Aaron Rodgers, he's now coming back. Isn't that funny? After everything that went on and all that, he's going to end up playing for them again this year. It's a 2-year deal now. They shaved it down to 2 years. He's going to play this year. Then they will revisit at the end of the year that if he still is unhappy and he wants to leave, they will try to accommodate him and try to trade him. Now, remember, this is a 1-year deal, basically. He's probably going to tell them to go F themselves at the end of the year and move on and have one big hurrah with his teammates, and then he's gone. And you don't want to carry the burden of him bitching and complaining, because then you have a year left. And remember also, there's an agreement with no tags. So that means that even if you wanted to keep him for that second year, you're going to see him walk out the door as a free agent. So he'll get to finish his career wherever the hell he wants to go, wherever he thinks he's got a shot at a title. Okay, so the Packers basically know that they'll get Rodgers one more year. It'll buy Jordan Love one more year of development. And then they're hoping Jordan Love is ready to go in year 3, which, by the way, if you invested a first-round pick in a kid, I don't think you want to play him in years 4 and 5, because you still won't find out enough of him. So you really kind of need to play Love in year 3, because his first year is going to be tough probably. And so years 4 and 5 is where you expect him, if he's the guy, to turn the corner, and then you can sign him to a long-term contract because you're convinced, because you've seen enough. And if you're also the Packers, you now know you have a year for Aaron Rodgers, and then you can get ready to trade him, because you're not going to wait to that final year, because then you lose all your leverage. Meanwhile, the team that acquires him will acquire him with that final year, and then they can tack on another year or two, whatever he wants to play, however he feels at that point in time. So basically, Aaron Rodgers has sealed his fate in Green Bay. He'll play one more year, and then he'll move on. And I don't know where the hell he's going to go, but there's going to be a team that's going to try to make a couple of teams that may try to prepare themselves to be as sexy as possible for him to go there. And the other thing that's going to happen, you and I won't know anything about this, okay, at all, but his agent will be taking calls throughout the year. And some of the teams that might be interested will inquire, wink, wink, with his agent, okay? Private conversation just between them. What's Aaron looking for? Where does he want to go? Would he be interested? Yada, 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 all that kind of stuff. So I could already see teams talking to the agent and kind of preparing for next year and see if they can get in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes. So we'll see how that develops. But after everything, he'll end up playing this year, and then he's got. And here's the other thing that I like about this deal. Okay, fans kind of get to say goodbye, because if you would have traded him now, you didn't know that last year that was his last game, and then he's gone and all that stuff. Now, at least you know you're going to get one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of your team, whether it's him, Favre, or Bart Starr, whatever, bro. I'm not here to argue with you guys on who's the best or whatever. They've had 3 amazing Hall of Fame type quarterbacks, although I put Rodgers over Favre every day of the week and twice on Sundays. But still, what I like is that fans kind of get closure too, because it's never your fault. Never. What's going on with X and the team? It's not your fault. Don't blame Dolph fans. Dolph fans are stuck in the middle, dude. They're stuck in the middle with Joe Philbin, and they're stuck in the middle with, all these stupid decisions that have happened in the past and all the mess and everything else. And Packers fans are stuck in the middle of this mess. And all they ever do is love their team, and they're supportive, and they're dedicated, and they pack the stadium, and they love their players. And then you're kind of rewarding them this way, where they have to watch this soap opera take, center stage and happen publicly, and the breakup publicly, and everything's ugly. And then the fans are caught in the middle. You guys are always caught in the middle. Every single time, man. Fans are always caught in the middle. And they're the ones that give, believe it or not. You can call people fair-weathered and get off the bandwagon, this and that, but they still took the time at one point or another to pay for tickets, to pay for the NFL ticket, to buy the jersey, to buy the shirt, buy the hat, whatever it is, and root on their players and emotionally invest in your team. So they're also entitled to get mad too, right? If GMs can get mad, if coaches can get mad, if players can get mad, if agents can get mad, why can't fans get mad and frustrated about it? They have nothing to do with it. They don't have anything to do with the stupid decisions. It's not the Raiders fans' fault that they gave John Gruden a guaranteed 10-year deal for $100 million. Are you effing kidding me? You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those where I'm happy for the Green Bay fans because they get a little closure. And Aaron Rodgers now will do something that Bart Starr and Brett Favre never did. They're going to play a 17th season, or he's going to play a 17th season with the Packers. The other 2 guys are at 16. And if you would have traded off Aaron, all 3 of your greatest quarterbacks played 16 years exactly and were out. So this will be the first time that a quarterback in Green Bay plays for 17 years. That's the other thing. But I'm happy for the fans that they get a little closure at least, because it's not their fault. And fans are always caught up in the middle, and they never get any sympathy, and we're always slamming them, and we're always saying, oh, they didn't do this and they didn't do that and all. And it's just, sometimes it's unfair. Sometimes, yeah, fans are bad. Sometimes they do things that they don't, they deserve some criticism. But in this case, especially with all this kind of drama, they had nothing to do with any of this. So I'm glad they get to have a little closure with their guy. Let's see. Talking about missing out, went to see Bowie at James L. Knight. While they were there setting up on the stage, one of the crew fell from the lighting rig and died. Show canceled. Never got to see Bowie live. Wow. I saw Bowie at, I think it was the Orange Bowl. Yeah, I think it was the Orange Bowl. What about the Cars? A fan? Hell yeah. I love the Cars. Of course, dude. Secret Separation never got as high in the charts as it should be in 85. I agree. Secret Separation is just an absolute amazing song. Maybe he wins the Super Bowl this year and stays. I doubt it, C-Dola. I doubt it. On the staying. I don't know about the Super Bowl because, You're right. They could win the Super Bowl, but I don't think he stays. This dude holds a grudge, bro. This dude holds a grudge. He's gone. He set it up this way because he's gone. Aaron plays in 21, wins a Super Bowl. He guarantees long-term employment and pay raises for the same guys in the front office he despises. Well, that's not true. That's actually not true. If Jordan Love becomes a bust and Aaron Rodgers finishes out a couple of Pro Bowl years somewhere else and even wins a title somewhere else, even though, let's say he wins a title this year and then leaves, and Jordan Love is an outright bust, and Aaron Rodgers plays well, why would you keep Gutekunst when he made a really stupid decision? He pissed off your most important player for a quarterback that failed. See, you can piss off Brett Favre, but Aaron Rodgers has to succeed. So that's where it worked out for Ted Thompson. If you're Brian Gutekunst, Jordan Love better ball out, dude. He better ball out. If he doesn't ball out, I think he gets fired. I really do. I don't think it's that simple. Let's see. Watch Rodgers go to the Pats next year. God. I don't think those two guys would mesh. Belichick and Rodgers. Doesn't seem like two guys that have a match. Right tackle Liam Eichenberg. Yes, he did sign. Yes, sir. What else? Can you imagine Rodgers going to New England? Wow, what a nightmare that would be. Oh, this Capitol riot testimony is riveting. What a disgrace. My Capitol was ravaged like that. SMH. Don't worry about it. They'll deal with all those terrorists, and they'll be serving jail for a while. You know, they just gave 8 months to one guy, which kind of disagree. I think they should have given him more, but whatever. I think they should give all those scumbags that broke into the Capitol several years. Big O, I just saw X at training camp. Yes, we all know he's there, Derek. Relax. You'll be fine, bro. Michael Young says, I saw Bowie in the early 80s at the Sportatorium. There you go. Nico says, what's up, fellas? I'm in the Smoky Mountain listening. Nice, Nico. Enjoy yourself out there, my brother. Watch Rodgers go to Tampa after Brady retires. I think Brady will still be there next year, right? I still think he'll be there more than one more year. You know? Let me see. The Chicago Blackhawks have acquired goaltender Marc-Andre Fleury from the Las Vegas Golden Knights in exchange for Mikhail Hakkarainen. No salary retained in the deal. Okay. So GP Trap sends me that. GP Trap, I'm looking at my Twitter feed and I'm seeing a goalie, right? And all I'm praying is, hey, they traded Bob somewhere, please. That's all I'm crossing my fingers for. Can you trade Bob? Listen, I'm not stupid. I know Bob is untradeable. I know Bob is not wanted at his own house right now. Okay. That's how bad it is for Bobrovsky. They've told him to move out of his own house. Like, no, dude. I get it. You're paying for this house, but you're a disgrace, bro. Get out of here. Go do something else. Leave us alone. At least that's what I heard, that they kicked Bob out of his own house. I don't know. I don't know if it's true, but, that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. Orlando says, I know Omar says X won't follow the top receivers, but if he wants a new contract from someone, they won't want to see that. I agree. I agree, Orlando. X can't act like a dick. If he does, he's not going to get a new contract. I'm with you there. All right, Drew Boo, is that what you want? All right, let's give Drew Boo what he wants. He says, "Oh, I think we have a chance of beating Bama."
Blind ass fan alert! Look out, everyone! We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
There you go, bro. You got your blind ass fan alert. I love that. Is the fun part about watching what's going on as the University of Miami. And look, I know the University of Miami, when we talk about this season and the proper expectations for this season, Okay? It should be this way. They should challenge for the ACC title. They've got 19 of 21 starters returning. And we're going to talk to Manny Navarro about this in a half hour. They should. They should beat North Carolina. I know North Carolina's got the QB, but the QB lost a ton. So you should be the better team when it's all said and done. You got a ton of experience coming back if you're Manny Diaz. This is the ultimate right now for Manny to prove that he has a chance of being a really good coach, head coach. I know Manny's a terrific defensive coordinator. He's proven that in years past, but he has not proven, not even close, that he's a good head coach. So this is the kind of season that we should expect them to challenge for the ACC championship. I don't expect them to beat Clemson, but I expect them to at least win this division and go out there and challenge. And if you don't, that's an incredible disappointment. But on the flip side, it is fun to see the Canes zombies try to convince themselves that they can beat Alabama. Look, I get it when the hometown announcers try to do it because they've got to do it, right? They've got to sell it. As much as I love Josie and Don Bailey, they've got to try to paint the picture. They represent the team and all that stuff. But most of us that live in reality, you're not winning that game, okay? It's just not happening. The better coach and coaching staff is on one side of the field, and it's not on the Coral Gables side. The group of talent that's on one side of the field compared to the other is also better, and it's not in Coral Gables. The winning tradition is on one side of the field and not in Coral Gables. Everything. I know that they lost a bunch of people in the draft. I get all of that. But they reload. They're at another level where Miami used to do those kind of things in the 80s and the 90s. They knew about what reloading was. But they haven't been a reloading team in 20 years. And they're not that now. And whatever they have now is not better than what Alabama's reloading with. So, in my eyes, I don't expect them to win that game. I expect them to get their asses kicked in that game. But it is freaking hilarious to listen to some fans, to run into some writers that are actually trying to write a way that they can win. And I get it. We're in May and April and June and July, and we're not in the football season, so you got to fill the space and you got to write some crap and come up with some crazy-ass scenario that puts UM beating Alabama. Their season starts in week 2. Week 1 for me is a pass. I expect you to lose. I expect you to lose big, but I expect you after that to be not just competitive. I expect you to win pretty much every damn game that's left on the schedule. And if you don't do that, then I am going to be disappointed in Manny. And yes, he should be on the hot seat. Yeah. And if he loses to North Carolina and loses this division, he should be on a hot seat. But here's the problem with the hot seat. The guy that hired him can't put him on a hot seat. Do you know why? Because the guy that hired him is also going to get fired if you fire Manny Diaz. Because think about it. This is his only hire. He didn't hire Larinaga. He didn't hire Katie Meyer. He's not making any of the impactful hires. Right? So then if you can't nail the hire on the football side, then that's where the AD is going to end up burning himself. And that's where the politics step in. You know, will Blake James put him on the hot seat? I don't think so, because that's his boy. And if Blake James puts Manny Diaz on the hot seat, he's basically putting Manny Diaz and Blake James on the hot seat. And when and if Manny fails, he's taking Blake James with him. At least that's what you would do if you're the president, correct? You look around, you say, well, wait a minute. I mean, this was your hire, right? And we've invested all of this in football and the coaches. We had to pay $4 million to Temple to get him away because you were convinced he's the guy. We could have saved $4 million. And now you're going to fire him? Well, you know what? Pack up your things. You're going with him. I mean, I'm just being honest. I got nothing against Blake James. I don't know him from a hole in the wall. Okay? But I know this. His job is to make the football program excel. And if you hired the wrong head coach, you kind of set your program back again and again and again and again. And we're all kind of tired of watching this program get sent back. So, yes, there's no doubt in my mind that Manny Diaz has to be on a hot seat. Yes, big time. All right, let's take a short break here so we can get ready to start hour number 3 of the program right here on the Big O Radio Show. For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
This is the Big O Show.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zins Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zins Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available, from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends. Starting in August, longtime Miami Heat insider Ira Winderman joins the Big O Radio Show. Ira will give insight twice a week on your favorite NBA team. Heat fans get the information you crave from one of the best in the business. From weekly appearances to breaking news, join Ira Winderman exclusively on the Big O Show. Found on most platforms.
All right, welcome back. Thank you out there for hanging in there. Appreciate you. Get a little rest here in between the hours. We don't really have a lot of breaks here, so appreciate all of you out there, as always, hanging in and helping us out. Derek Sibley says, my girlfriend wants to know your opinion on how the Eagles are going to do this year. She thinks Hurts will be better than Tua. What do you think? Do I have to be honest? I'm a huge Jalen Hurts fan as a human being, okay? He is impossible to not root for because you know he's a good kid, right? Heck of a college football player. I don't believe in him as a passer at the NFL level. I just don't. I think he's a guy that's going to have his limitations. I think his accuracy is an issue. Maybe he can work on it. It's impressive that he can squat 600 pounds. I mean, listen, again, it's, I hope I'm wrong, okay, because I can't root against the kid, but I got to be honest. I don't buy him as a passer. And so I get it. She, your girlfriend thinking Jalen Hurts will be better than Tua.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
So we had to give your girlfriend a little BAF there. A blind ass fan alert there, but nice kid. I just don't buy him as a starter when it's all said and done. I don't know what the Eagles were smoking when they did this. I don't know what they were seeing. Maybe I'm wrong, man. But hey, listen, Josh Allen, I didn't buy him either. And after the first year, I thought I was convinced because the guy was an absolute disaster. And then he found his way in years 2 and 3 and has become one hell of a player and kind of proven a lot of us wrong, including yours truly. He's the first guy in my 50 years of living, but specifically my 31 years of doing this. And I've always said that the guy that's inaccurate will always be inaccurate, will always cost you when it's all said and done. And that's always been the case. He's the one guy that broke that mold. And again, a lot of us don't watch Wyoming football. So maybe he had a really crappy team around him. Maybe the kid was so raw at that point that this is who he was. It was just, he was so green in those moments. And Brian Daboll has, developed one hell of a player in Josh Allen. Maybe, just maybe, this kid will do the same thing and prove me wrong. We'll see. But I'm going to go with, I'm not a Jalen Hurts believer. They play UNC coming off a bye again this year. Yeah, but that's not a good thing either. Derek says, great show, by the way. Thank you, Derek. Appreciate you. Antonio says, I'm a diehard Hurricanes fan, Big O. They have no shot to beat Alabama, honestly. Hope it's not a blowout. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, too. I'm expecting an ass kicking, but I'm praying for them to at least give them a competitive game. That would be cool, actually. That to me is the only little hope that I have in this game is that they give them a competitive game. I don't expect them to win. I just think that that's so unrealistic. Bama is too strong for Miami, and I'm a Canes fan since 87. Boy, you got on the right time. Manuel Malo says, anything under 2 scores should be considered a win by Miami. Can anybody argue with Manuel on that one? Yeah, he's right. They lose by 10 or 12. You're like, hey, man, that wasn't too bad. Hank Goldberg's left nut says, if they beat the spread, it's a win. Oh, if they beat the spread, it'd be awesome, dude. Yeah, you're right. Rosendo says, love it when the Canes are the underdogs. No one gave the Canes a chance against Nebraska in 83, and we still won. Yeah. Yeah. Is Howard Schnellenberger on the sidelines there? I'm sorry. I must have missed that. Wait a minute. Do I see Bernie Kosar back there or something? No, I don't. No, right. No. We can't reach into the past on this, man. None of these teams can ever be compared to the past. None of these teams, we mention any of these teams, and we compare them to 83 or 85 or 87 or 89 or 91 or whatever. It's an insult to those teams. Okay? It's an absolute insult to those teams. Those are real, champion Canes teams, man. Those are the kind of teams that we envy, we dream of, we reminisce, we respect, we idolize. None of these teams the last 20 years are idolized at all. At all. since 01 or 02, because obviously the 02 team was pretty damn good too. They just stole the championship from the University of Miami with those terrible calls against Ohio State. But since those teams, these teams deserve to be in the same sentences with any of the great Canes teams. It's not even close, dude. Love it. Let's see. Big O, with the AFC being so tough in a 17-game season, is it going to take 11 wins to make the playoffs? That's a lot to ask for a team unless Tua balls out. Well, Hank Goldberg's left nut. I expect Tua to ball out, bro. I do, man. I'm sorry. But you know what? Here you go.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
Call me a blind ass fan, bro. I love Tua this year. I think he's going to ball out. I think he's healthy. I think the offense is designed perfectly for him now. I think he's got the weapons. He's got the quick twitch guys. I think the offensive line should be better with some experience this year. The running backs are coming back with some experience this year. The receiving core is the deepest receiving core they've had in a long, long time. The defense played really well last year. They should be pretty damn good again this year. I think Tua has it all to have one hell of a year for the Miami Dolphins. I think he's going to play really, really well. But again, maybe I deserve the blind ass fan alert. I'm no better than any of you guys, okay? I could be just as wrong as you guys. I can be just as right as you guys about this kind of stuff. I'm not some kind of psychic or anything, but I just have a feeling that everything is now set up for him to succeed, whereas last year, everything was set up for him to fail. Let me tell you, as I've said before, it wasn't only set up for him to fail. Last year was set up for him to fail and get injured again. Okay? How do you like that one? Fail and get injured again. And neither one happened. He did pretty damn good, and he didn't get injured. This year, I'm expecting a much better Tua, man. Can I get 1-0 just because? Oh, all right, you got it, bro.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
There you go. There you go. There you go. You got it, bro. Came through for you there, upper echelon. Willie Molina says, can we compartmentalize an upset? You love that word, bro. Daniel Marquez says, beat Bama. Akaris1 says, blind ass fan alert. Let's see. Willie Molina, watch Saban get upset would be nice. Also for quitting too. Well, actually, the best part about Saban getting upset is just throwing his headsets, and he's pissed, and he's screaming at the sidelines and screaming at his offensive coordinator and screaming at his defensive backs coach. And well, he is the defensive backs coach. Anyway, so screaming at everybody, screaming at the kids, screaming at the AD, right? Screaming at the guy that's, dragging around the cable everywhere he goes. Screaming at the guy that's picking up the headset in like 8 pieces. All of those kind of things. Nothing is better than getting Saban pissed off. I mean, that really would be absolutely sweet if you can piss him off, dude. I love that. That's fantastic. That would be perfect, actually. All right, remember, you can reach out to us on the YouTube channel. You can reach out to us on Yahoo, the email, which is bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. So if you have any questions, comments, complaints, whatever it is, send them in. You can also reach out on Twitter @BigOShow if you got a question, comment. Maybe you want to send us some news, like GP Trap sent us the Oki news on that. And of course, another great way to support our show is Cash App and Venmo. Please, right there at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Ray is asking me, how is Bill doing? Bill is doing good. He's hanging in there. He's going to his therapy and trying to recover. He's got to wear like this like this thing on around his, his waist to kind of support his back and all that. And that crash messed him up, bro. That crash messed him up. So he's got to recover. He's hanging in there. He's a tough dude. So hopefully everything will work out, and maybe down the line you'll see him sometime on the show here helping us out a little bit, which would be nice to get him back on the show to help us out. Remember, for those of you that are tuning in, tomorrow we will start at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, okay? We will start a half hour early. Every day will be 10 a.m. except on Wednesdays. Wednesdays I'll come in a little earlier. We'll start the show, and then we'll hand it off to Ira and Clay. All right? So Ira and Clay will then have that 1 hour. They will do Inside the Paint, and then we will then take over again at 11 o'clock after that, and we'll have guests, and we'll do whatever we normally do and all that good stuff. So tomorrow, debut of Inside the Paint with Ira Winderman and Clay Ferraro from Channel 10. So it should be a lot of fun as they get to address a lot of different subjects for the Heat. Free agency is about to start next week. Remember, next week, Ira Winderman starts with his 2 reports on Tuesdays and Fridays. So Tuesdays, you'll get Manny Navarro and Ira Winderman. Mondays, you'll get Omar Kelly. Next week, starting Wednesdays, my boy Kyle Krabs will be taking over, and you'll only hear him exclusively here. You won't hear him anywhere else anymore starting next week. Then Thursdays, it'll be Ira Winderman. I'm sorry. Thursdays are open right now for the moment. Got some stuff planned. And then Fridays, you'll get Omar, Ira, and Manny to lead you into the weekend. So you got your top guy for Heat Insight, Dolphin Insight, and Canes Insight. So you got all of that. So an enormous lineup starts next week. All right. You love the Teja, Big O. Oh, my. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like my long hair. I don't want to let it go. What can I tell you? Maybe not the right move for me since I'm in my 50s, but I don't care, bro. It doesn't matter to me. Whether I have short hair, long hair, I'm still the same person, and doesn't, that's a good thing. It actually has never affected me having long hair. People, they look at it, but they know who the hell I am. And so at least I don't get, now, if you don't know me, you probably judge me by the long hair, but yeah, it's one of those, man. What can I tell you? I've always loved having long hair. Hate short hair. And let me tell you, living here is not actually a good thing to have the long hair, right? Because it's hot as a mother. Big O, I want you to know Tua is the anointed one. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He will be kicking ass for a long time to come. What else do we have here? Inter Miami, according to Michelle Kaufman, is finalizing a deal for a U.S. national team defender, Ventura Alvarado. Oh, here's the other thing. Remember, we talked about this yesterday. So the report was that Houston was taking calls on Watson, right? Did you guys see that there's 10 criminal complaints waiting to be filed? And then there are 2 other women that are separate from the case that Rusty Hardin is running. So these are other cases that are also in the way for what's it called, for Deshaun Watson. Monday, Pro Football Talks Mike Florio reported that the Texan star has yet to be informed if he'll be placed on paid leave as he faces 22 lawsuits. Well, Rusty Hardin on Monday, Watson's attorney told John Barr of ESPN that 10 women have filed complaints with Houston police about Watson. 2 of the women are not among those suing the signal caller, which suggests those allegations not known by the public until Monday. Houston police did not comment on the investigation at ESPN. Hardin added that the NFL has not yet interviewed Watson about the allegations because the league is first waiting for the criminal investigation to conclude. Busby, who is representing the women suing Watson, offered a statement to ESPN. As of today, Almost half of these women have given sworn statements to the police, and almost half have spoken to the NFL's investigative team. Both processes are very lengthy. We expect to provide further information to the NFL from all victims. Now, Deshaun Watson's camp has been floating the idea that the accusations are false and that the accusers are out for money. That's a harder case to make now that Watson's own lawyer says 2 of the women who reported him to the police are not suing him. 2 of the women have filed complaints with the Houston Police Department against Deshaun Watson. According to the attorney, 8 of those women are suing Watson, but 2 are not part of it. So now you've got this issue. So, and he doesn't want anything settled publicly. I mean, privately. He wants it all settled publicly also. And that's another hurdle that they're also, and that's if you're going after him because he's a criminal, I don't think you have a problem. Well, I shouldn't say that, because if it goes public, then you got to then answer questions to the media, and then they've got questions to ask you, and then they're going to track you down and they're going to find you and all that kind of stuff. So I guess that's probably why they don't want to see the problem with sexual assault for a child, for a woman, and even for a man that it may happen, is that when there is a court case involved, you are now reliving everything all over again. And now you're reliving it in public. And so now the public finds out about how you were abused, molested, mistreated, whatever it was that happened to you in when you were mixed up with that person. And then that becomes another level of embarrassment. It's not so much about, oh, I don't want my name out there because I'm money grabbing or something like. No, it's not really that. It could be that for some of them. I don't know. It could be that. I'm not telling you that, but I'm telling you, for the victims themselves, the reason why they want to avoid the public, it's because they already feel embarrassed. They already feel violated. They already feel uncomfortable. They may all, if these were crimes, if any of these were actual crimes where he really sexually assaulted somebody, then those people are also going to have a level of insecurity in being alone with anybody else for the rest of their lives. This is something that, if it is a crime, it damages the human being forever, pretty much. Okay? And to use a word that Willie loves, it's almost impossible for them to compartmentalize the crime and then passion with somebody that they may love. And it may be something that crosses over, and there may be a level of insecurity and lack of trust for the rest of their lives with any person that they try to be intimate with for the rest of their lives. That's the part that most of us don't take into equation, because most of us have never suffered this. So since we've never gone through it, we don't know what they go through. And so that's the trick about going public or not. And it's not so much about the gold digging part. It could be, but God forbid that crimes did happen out of these 22. Those people are living a nightmare, and they don't want to live the nightmare again in public. They got to live it privately. They see it in their dreams. They see it in their thoughts. They're haunted by it. It's tough, man. It's tough. That's why this is why I have zero sympathy for Deshaun Watson. How you can be this stupid and tie yourself and put yourself in this position is beyond me. It just is. You're an incredibly famous person, bro. Don't you understand? Every one of these strangers that you call, you're putting a bullseye on you. So, and again, it may not even be that. It may be some of these women may not have known who the hell he is. And then he just sexually assaulted them. And then they found out who he was after. That happens, because there are some people. Remember, we are freaks. Yeah. The average sports fan isn't listening to sports radio. right? The hardcore fan is the one that listens to sports radio. The incredibly hardcore fan is the one that's watching on YouTube. But there's a lot of people, most people that don't follow sports, they don't care. They don't even know any of these people. And then there's that casual fan that, half-ass follows things. And how many of those women may have been that? It's it's sad, man. It's a disturbing deal. It really is. All right, let's get ready because Manny Navarro is going to join us next.
Starting in August, longtime Miami Heat insider Ira Winderman joins the Big O Radio Show. Ira will give insight twice a week on your favorite NBA team. Heat fans get the information you crave from one of the best in the business. From weekly appearances to breaking news, join Ira Winderman exclusively on the Big O Show. Found on most platforms.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All righty, we are awaiting the man, the myth, the legend that is Manny Navarro. He is ready to join us. Let's bring him aboard. Let's talk a little Canes. Manny,
what's going on,
my friend? You doing all right?
Doing great, man. Yourself?
Good. Let me ask you something because we were just talking about this. Do you find it humorous when people try to convince themselves on how they can win against Alabama in the first week of the season? Because I really give Miami zero chance of winning that game unless the new quarterback's going to come in and turn over the ball 47 times. I just don't expect it to happen.
Yeah, I think, look, Alabama's not the same team they were last year. They obviously lost a lot of offensive weapons, so you can certainly question and say, hey, they're not going to be able to score and put up the same number of points they did last year with the great system that they had. They have new offensive coordinator, a whole new kind of quarterback, as you mentioned. Receivers have some question marks, but in the end, it's still Alabama. It's still one of the best defenses in the country. They've got one of the best secondaries in the country. And so to me, very rarely does Vegas make mistakes. And the fact that it's an 18-point spread tells you how most people who know the game really think of this matchup. And so, look, I think Miami can keep it close for a half, right? I don't think they're going to get blown out. I think this Miami team can score points. I think they're going to be better with Charleston Rambo and at receiver, having a more consistent deep threat. I think Mike Harley, if he's the guy that we saw in the second half last year, I think those are two very good receivers. I think, Will Mallory is going to be a good tight end. I like their running backs. I think the offensive line has a ton of experience, but this is still the defending national champions and still a program that recruits 5 stars left and right, get all the best players in the country every single year. And so those guys usually just step into those roles when guys leave, and they continue to keep the team at that level. So I think the fact that it's an opener helps Miami. Alabama's going to have to shake some of its initial rust off, as we said with Bryce Young. But yeah, I just think, Alabama's a favorite for a reason, man.
Yeah, I'm with you there. So now the follow-up is, if they don't challenge for the ACC title, I don't expect them to win it because they should, and Clemson is the better team. Should Manny be on the hot seat, considering he has 19 of 22 starters returning? He has an experienced team. North Carolina, I know they've got the better quarterback, but Sam Howell lost everything. He lost all his weapons. So they've got to also reload too. And are they at that point where they can reload? And I know that I saw where the writers picked North Carolina to win. By the way,
right.
were you one of them that picked North Carolina to win?
I was. I picked Miami to finish second, and I had Virginia third in the ACC. Those were my top 3 for the Coastal.
So then in your eyes, he shouldn't be on the hot seat because you don't think he should win the division or challenge for the ACC then?
I just think that from a talent standpoint, Kelvin Harris, one of my favorite guys, former Hurricane who won 3 national championships. He and I argue all the time, dude, about the Canes. And he's a 58. These guys are 15-0. This is the most talented team. He thinks they're going to have like 12 to 14 NFL draft picks off this Hurricanes team. And I'm like, Kelvin, they could have 10 guys drafted off this Hurricanes team. But how many of them are going to be first rounders? How many of them are going to be second rounders, guys that are the best players at their position in college football? Look, go back and look at when Ohio State won the national championship, when Alabama wins the national championship, when LSU wins the national championship. They've got 5 and 6 first rounders, guys that are just the best at their position. Miami doesn't have that.
You mean like the 80s and 90s Canes? Is
right. But I'm just saying, even modern day, yes, you can have a lot of guys drafted, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're ready to win a championship yet. And I think when I look at this team, there's good players. I think Bubba Bolden will probably be one of the best safeties in the country this year.
By the way, Al Golden had a shitload of guys drafted.
Right. He did too. And they won 7-8 games. So I just think, look, in the end, this team could win up to 10 games, in my opinion. I think they could go to a bowl game and win if a lot of these guys decide to play in the bowl game. Let's not forget that, right? How things shake out. You could end up with just 10 wins because you can't get enough guys to play in the bowl game that matter. Either way, I look at this as a team that you're asking them to win on the road at North Carolina against a Mac Brown coach team that just completely obliterated you. I know the personnel is different. They lost guys to the NFL, 2 receivers and 2 running backs, but they've got a good offensive line. They've got some good players at the skill position still at receiver, I think, that are good players. And I think playing that game at home gives them an advantage. I see that very, very even. De'Aaron King, Sam Howell, it's kind of a wash, in my opinion, in terms of great players making great plays in the game at that position. It's going to come down to defense. And to me, Carolina has a better defense. They shut down Miami last year, held them to 24 points. Miami gave up 62 points to them. And, I think they've got the better team right now, and playing at home gives them an advantage.
Jalar Haley, tell us, is it just he's not going to play much, so he's out of here? Is that
I think it just comes down to playing time for a lot of these guys, and it's going to happen in college football. Everybody's going to look at the roster situation, and they're just going to say, I'm going to move on to better things. And I think in Miami's case, they're deep at the defensive tackle position. They've got some good players. They just picked up Leonard Taylor. We've talked about this dude quite a bit. He's a 5-star guy. If you're a guy like Jalar Holly, who still isn't going to play this year because you've got Nestor Silvera and John Ford and 2 other guys in front of you, it's time to hit the road, Jack, right? It's time to go look elsewhere. And I think there might be a couple of other guys, names that I've heard over the last week of guys that could be out of here for different reasons. So, we'll see what happens. I kind of wait for those guys to announce it themselves, because even if I hear something, it's always like, well, you never know. Maybe he changes his mind. Maybe the coaches talk him into staying. So I think when those guys are ready to announce they're leaving, we'll hear about it. But it's put it this way. It's none of the guys who are going to play a whole lot. And Jalar Holly, what was he known for? Dancing on the sidelines. Sadly, that's kind of what his reputation was, right? Being the guy who was dancing during a loss. So I just think, look, Manny Diaz wants to win a championship. He wants this program to improve, and he's still working on improving that roster.
All right. And Julian Armea and Malik Agbo. Tell me a little bit more recruiting-wise about those guys.
Yeah, those are their 2 highest prospects at the offensive tackle position, the 2 guys that they really, really want. Agbo's a kid out of Washington, came across the states to visit Miami. I think he's got a good relationship with Jake Garcia, who potentially is going to be his starting quarterback if he picks Miami. I think that's what they're trying to work. Armela's a kid. His father played at Florida State. He was at Miami Columbus last year, transferred back to St. Thomas Aquinas. He's a national kid with the best offensive tackle in the state, most likely. And I just think, he's got a lot of great programs after him, and we'll have to see where Miami fits into it and how much his mom wants him to stay home. I think if mom really urges him to stay home, then he'll stay here and play for the Hurricanes. But, those are their 2 top guys on the offensive line. They did pick up Justin Medlock, the linebacker that I told you about last Friday when I came on the show. He ended up committing right after we talked, maybe an hour afterward. So they've got 6 guys now in their class. I talked to Manny Diaz about the recruiting class, and I know Miami fans are freaking out. They've only got 6 commitments. They're ranked 61st, yada, yada, yada.
Too early,
again,
bro.
I'm going to say this again. Manny basically said, look, all the guys that we really want aren't deciding till late, so they're going to be deciding in December, announcing on TV and, all those kind of things. They're in play for big guys. And even if Miami doesn't get some of those dudes, Manny's not worried. He feels like the transfer portal is going to open up a lot of possibilities. And in a lot of ways, these coaches are looking at it like, look, I could take on a high school kid like Jalar Holly, spend 2 years developing, and he doesn't work out. Meanwhile, I can also look at the transfer portal, like Miami's successfully done here quite a bit, and land a guy at a position that I need. And so it's all about keeping a few scholarships for that transfer portal. And I think, Miami feels comfortable with the last 2 recruiting classes. They've got, the guys in the last 2 classes are good. They're top 15 type classes. And there's a lot of good players in them. And so that's the future. And Manny's just going to continue to recruit the guys he thinks he can get and the guys that can make a difference.
All right, so our boy Andrew Ivins called James Williams a unicorn of a prospect.
Yeah.
You agree? How good is this guy? How excited should we be? Because me, dude, I don't like getting excited about high schoolers until I see them actually on the field today. But is this kid, or is this one of those
generational type talents?
Yeah, like Taylor from
Sean Taylor, yeah.
Sean Taylor. Like once we got him from, what is it? Not Lourdes.
Gulliver Prep. He was
Gulliver Prep.
Yeah.
Once we got him from Gulliver, it was like, no, dude, forget that Gulliver crap. This guy's a monster, this and that. And he ended up becoming the monster that everybody said he is. And rest in peace, Sean Taylor. Is that what we're talking about? Is this the kind of guy?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got that kind of talent. I mean, first of all, he's 6'5", 220 pounds already. I mean, how many high school kids come in, from high school like that, built like an Adonis?
He's built like a skinny defensive end is what he's built like right now.
Right. And I think that's where most of us who know the game say that's probably where he's better served, right? Moving to defensive end and being a Javon Curse like talent. That's what a lot of guys that I talk to in the business that do scouting and all kinds of work for different colleges, they've told me in the past, this is a guy that in reality, if you took him and you turn him into a defensive end, he'd probably be the number 1 overall pick. But he wants to play safety. He thinks he can play safety at this level. I think ultimately Miami moves him to like linebacker, to striker, to one of those spots where he's in the box and he's able to rush the quarterback from up close and also, do a good job as a run defender coming up and making tackles. He's the comparison I've gotten most for him is Isaiah Simmons, the kid from Clemson from a couple years ago, who was Defensive Player of the Year. And Simmons was a first round pick of the Cardinals. I think he was in the top 10 overall. James is that kind of a player. Sean Taylor, to me, you talk about special talents. Those are guys that are just on another planet because those are generational talents. I think James Williams is definitely a first round pick. He definitely has that in his future, that kind of talent. But Sean Taylor, we'll see. Will he have that kind of impact? Will he make those kind of plays in the game constantly that Sean Taylor made when he was playing? I don't know. But I think he's definitely a 5-star prospect, definitely a guy you got to keep an eye on. And I think him and Leonard Taylor, those are the 2 guys on defense. You talk about recruiting and improving the program. Those 2 dudes take the program to another level.
So, Manny, when you go to Vegas, you go to gamble, right?
Yeah.
You go to gamble, right?
Yeah.
You know where I'm going. So you go to Vegas to gamble. UNLV, man, they love to roll the dice. They got Tate Martell, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Come up, fake eyes. Did they watch this guy, by the way? Because that's the other thing that we are complete idiots, okay? Because when he transfers from Ohio State, all the hype, none of us actually really took the time to watch his ass because that guy can't pass, bro. I don't know what the hell it is, but he's got more lives than anyone I've ever seen, and he can't play the position. So I'm just wondering, what the hell is UNLV doing, man?
Well, before we get to UNLV, what the hell was Urban Meyer thinking, right, when he recruited him to Ohio State? What was Miami thinking? What film were they studying? Again, I think the Tate Martell story is more an indictment of how lazy people are when it comes to scouting and really doing their homework on players in college football versus, what it used to be when Jimmy Johnson and his staff would go out and really talk to guys, break things down. I think there's a lot of corners being cut nowadays, which is why you see so many quote unquote busts. some recruitniks out in the Vegas area, especially the fact that Tate had his own little TV show, right? He was on that Netflix special. They all fell in love. They all fell in love with the gimmick. And the reality is the first day he was out at practice throwing the football, me and a couple of the other beat reporters were looking around like, this is the dude? Like, this is the guy everybody's going crazy over? Look, I think he's fine in like a wildcat offense. Like you could have him run the football. He's probably
that's why Urban, in a way, he does love his running quarterback. So I can almost see that. But in this team, it's always been about passing. And bro, that guy can't pass.
No, and the only offense he was effective in, and it was for one drive that I saw him, was in a spring game when he first got here up in Orlando when Miami had their spring game up there that year. And he came out, and it was, mind you, this was the scout team defense. But he came out in the shotgun and just threw the ball really quickly, took the snap, made quick decisions, got the ball. He was effective in that. But it's like a gimmick. It was like one drive. It was one moment where you're like, okay, I can see a little bit of his talent. But overall, you put that guy against a first-team defense, somebody who's throwing, complicated coverage schemes at them, moving guys around at the line of scrimmage. He didn't know what to do with the football. And so I think just a lot of people missed. And now, he ends up at UNLV where I exactly thought he would be all along. That would be the place. Go back home and try to get on the field. I hope for his sake, Tate gets an opportunity. Look, he went through a lot of off-the-field issues here at Miami. He had a girlfriend that he was a model, one of these, Instagram chicks that he was going out with that was driving him insane. He was in love with her and wasn't even around the team a couple times when Miami expected him to be there. So it was all kind of issues behind the scenes. Now he's back home. Hopefully his parents can help him out, straighten him out, and hopefully Tate can make something of himself, man, and get a college degree.
Or if not, hit the lottery or go become a blackjack dealer or something, bro.
Right.
I saw that story and I was like, really? Did you guys watch him play at all or something?
Well, he's a hero back home because he won 3 state championships with his high school team, and so he's beloved back home for all those reasons. But people forget he played with Brevin Jordan and Bubba Bolden and a bunch of other guys who were good players that are NFL type talents that made him look good. And again. My biggest thing, and I was talking about this with some of the college football writers at The Athletic. How did so many people miss? Like, where was the evaluations? Who was really doing their homework here? And why did so many schools think that this guy was good? Maybe there's just, maybe they saw something there that the rest of us didn't. But I can tell you, the first time I saw him throw a football and I saw it wobbling and I saw him struggling to just get the ball off, I'm thinking to myself, dude, this guy is nothing compared to what everybody's built him up to be.
It reminds me of Josh Heupel. It reminds me of, I'm out at Dolphins camp and we're looking around going, this is their draft pick? And then they actually ended up with a bunch of injuries. Heupel was the only arm they had left in camp. And Spielman comes out of the GM office, puts on some shorts and starts throwing the ball around. And Spielman had a better arm than Heupel. And we were like, wait a minute, dude, how does the guy that drafted him have a better arm than the damn quarterback? And it's like, what the F, bro?
Yeah.
I'm glad he turned out to be a heck of a coach because holy crap, that was another guy that was like, did you scout this guy? Whatever. But it's just, I get you were in Oklahoma, right? You're Heupel, you're at Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's loaded with talent. It's what you're talking about. And so that's probably what it is. He had so much talent around him, it kind of hid his deficiencies when it's all said and done. But when he got to the Dolphins, I was like, this guy has no arm, bro. How can he be an NFL quarterback? And sure enough, obviously he didn't make it in the NFL. All right. So what are you working on for The Athletic so folks can check you out, my man?
Well, I just put out a story last week when I was in Charlotte. I kind of did the rounds, with all the different teams in the conference, including Clemson, to get their opinions on, what they really think of the Hurricanes. We down here kind of live in a vacuum, right? We see this team every single day. We report on it every single day. What do these guys who play against them honestly think? And so obviously, as we started off this conversation, they got picked to finish second. I picked them to finish second. But even the Clemson players are kind of like, yeah, look, we played them last year. They're okay. They're talented. But North Carolina is a team we're expecting to see in Charlotte. So that's kind of an honest take from some of their players. I talked to some players from Pittsburgh, NC State, and Louisville, who all played Miami last year. NC State, of course, plays them again. So does Pittsburgh because they're in the same division. But I got their opinions on who they think is good for Miami. A lot of love for Nestor Silvera, I'll tell you that. They think he's a talent, a guy to be reckoned with. A couple of the offensive linemen I talked to. And Bubba Bolden is viewed as the best guy that they've got in the secondary. Things that we know, but it's just interesting to hear what the guys who play against them thought, And I'll tell you one impression I came away with was D'Eriq King in the eyes of the rest of the conference is really what's keeping Miami in that hunt to be the number 2 team in the Coastal Division. I don't know if there's a ton of respect for a lot of the other guys on Miami's offense. It's like, look, he's the guy that everybody's afraid of. He's the guy that makes it all work. So it's not just us as a fan base thinking, hey, Miami's very blessed to have D'Eriq King. The guys who play against them do too. But they also credited Rhett Lashley and the up-tempo style that Miami plays and that they adopted with the spread offense. Louisville talked about how that was really the Achilles heel for them in that game. They blew coverages. They just weren't ready at the line of scrimmage. So, the things you and I talk about all the time, and I talk about with other people who follow the Hurricanes, is what really makes them good. What should you be worried about them losing? I think right now, Rhett Lashley and D'Eriq King, right? Manny Diaz is going to have to potentially find replacements for those two things next year.
Well, no. And not only that, the O-line. He's got a ton of experience on the O-line. He'll lose a bunch of those guys too, right?
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, even with all that experience, a lot of the guys that I talked to on defense didn't think much of Miami's offensive line. They're kind of like, yeah, they're okay, but North Carolina's better. So it's just kind of interesting little story. You can check that one out there. I'm also going to have an essay about what I'm most excited about coming back with college football. And to be honest, they asked me, why don't you write about the turnover chain? Why don't you write about the smoke? I'm like, look, I know that's the cliched Miami thing, right? Like, to me, what I'm most excited about, is just seeing the people that I didn't get to see last year when you go to a game, right? The familiar fans, the security guards, the people in the concession, just the people that make up our little community down here. That's what's most important to me. And I actually talked to a couple of players about it as well. D'Eriq King talked about his bus driver at Miami, how close he is with that guy. Lou Headley, the punter, was like, I can't wait to just see people in that little Canes walk. The players actually enjoy it. They like going and seeing their family members and friends and people who support them all the time before kickoff. So I'll have an essay on that. And there's plenty more. I've done a ton of one-on-one interviews with players. Thank God for NIL, by the way. These agents calling me and inviting me to these autograph signings. I've had an opportunity to talk to so many guys one-on-one that I would have never had the opportunity to do. So I'm going to have some good stories here in the weeks ahead leading up to the season.
Well, you always have good stories. And the other thing is the offensive line. For me, that's the group that could really leave an imprint on this season, on the conference and everybody else. Like you said, hey, we weren't that impressed, but with all the experience they have on that line, if they could go out there and dominate, it would make life so much easier for everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it would really lift that offense to the next level if they go out there and kind of really establish themselves. It would be really nice if that could happen.
Yeah, there's no question. I think, they were such a one-dimensional team last year. They were bad at running the football. They just were. They couldn't consistently run the football against even average teams in the ACC. And I think that's been what Rhett Lashley's been talking about. He wants a workhorse. He wants one guy to really, really emerge. I'll tell you, I got a chance to talk to John Chaney. He's the guy that everybody was telling me was sort of emerging as that number one guy in this offense before he hurt his shoulder, tore his labrum. Look, he had surgery. He detailed to me everything that he kind of went through. So I'm going to have that in a story coming up as well for The Athletic. But, he thinks he's going to be ready to go, for the opener against Alabama. But he still has a ways to go in terms of getting his shoulder back to where it needs to be. So we'll see. That'll be something to monitor. But you're right. Running the football is the most important thing for this offense. They have to take the pressure off D'Eriq King because, they go back and look at it. Virginia Tech, NC State, even the Louisville game. I mean, they had to score a ton of points to beat those teams or have late comebacks led by D'Eriq that he had to make great throws. Be nice to run the football and not have to depend on that to beat these teams. Otherwise, Miami, they don't. If it wasn't for D'Eriq, this would have probably been a 5-6 win team last year.
I'm with you. Yeah, it's scary, man. That's how good King is. All right, Manny. Make sure you follow him on Twitter, folks. Manny_Navarro. Catch his work there at The Athletic. Better yet, subscribe. It's a joke. The fee for a year, and you get a coverage from sea to shining sea, baby. And plus you get some international soccer in there too. So if you want to keep up with everything, make sure you sign up for The Athletic. Manny, as always, you are a stud, my brother. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. Good talking to you.
You got it. That's our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
There we go. We are back. Hope everything is good out there. Thank you to Manny Navarro. Thank you to Brett and all the great people at Caneswear. Make sure you go visit them, 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Go visit Brett and all the great people out there at Caneswear. A couple of music notes, by the way. If you're a Steely Dan fan, Steely Dan is coming to Miami Beach October 5th through the 9th. 4 nights at the Fillmore. All right? 4 freaking nights at the Fillmore. So if you've never seen Steely Dan, here's your chance to go see, well, not the whole band, but at least you'll get to see the main guy, which is good. But if you want, and at the Fillmore, that's going to be a pretty good thing. The other note that I have music wise, we always like to talk a little bit about history. And on this date, on July 27th, back in 1974, Leonard Skinner released Sweet Home Alabama. How about that? 1991 on this day, Bryan Adams started a 7-week run at the top of the charts with Everything I Do. Avenged Sevenfold on this date in 2010 released their 5th album, Nightmare. And on this date in 1983, Metallica began their first tour. The trek was called Kill 'Em All. Kill 'Em All for One, and ended on September 3rd. So there you go. That's a little bit of rock history for those of you that like to keep up with the música. All right, we are going to wrap it up here on the show, man. All right, we are done. We're history. We're in the archives. We're going to wrap it up tomorrow. Wednesdays, we will start at 9:30 instead of 10, okay? Why? Because at 10 a.m., we've got Inside the Paint. So Clay and Ira will be bringing it for 1 entire hour. So make sure you listen to Hardcore Basketball Talk. Of course, we'll podcast it and slice it up for you after. So if you can't hear it or watch it live, you can then catch it later. But on behalf of Ira Winderman and Manny Navarro today for joining us, everybody out there also for tuning in, thank you all. Remember, you can support us through Cash App and Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Twitter, Big O Show. Email, BigORadioShow@yahoo.com. And also on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you smash the like button if you're listening to the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, smash the like button. We thank you all out there. I appreciate you. Thank you. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.
Starting in August, longtime Miami Heat insider Ira Winderman joins the Big O Radio Show. Ira will give insight twice a week on your favorite NBA team. Heat fans get the information you crave from one of the best in the business. From weekly appearances to breaking news, join Ira Winderman exclusively on the Big O Show. Found on most platforms.